can't get the freaking songs or can't get the sounds then you guys need to get it handled. And don't tell me it's about me. It's just a speaking spell. You don't know what... Hey, what's going on, guys? Get it. Word, it's awesome to be here on another day where the Auburn Tigers are victorious over the hated Georgia Bulldogs in Athens. Wait, look at there. I can move it around. The Auburn Tigers victorious. As I mentioned, you guys know that. You watched the game. It was pretty narrow. With some very predictable things happening once that Zepp was announced to not be playing. Oh, yeah. Sweet, sweet sounds of royalty-free music. It is great to be here yet again, coming to you live from the capital city in the state of Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, from the Hampstead neighborhood, live on YouTube. We're back. We've got some basketball to discuss, and there might be a couple other things to talk about on equestrian, maybe a little gymnastics. I don't know. Travis J says, Jay, I got a nap before work. Just want to say, hey, where are you going to give Jabari more shots? My man. All right, man. Get ready for work, yo. We'll be here. Corey G in the house as well, man. I'm fired up. We were talking about you the other night, Corey G, because somebody was like, yo, did JG, what'd you do with your hat? And I was like, Corey G has it. Thinking that I gave away something that was such good luck. I bet it's been good luck for you. I'd love to hear the 3 greatest things, Corey G, that have happened to you since you have taken possession of that hat. I'm sure many, many things. Many things. You'll see. You went out to dinner with not just Beyonce, but all of Destiny's Child. You hit the lottery. And you got a private screening of Top Gun Maverick. That's 3 really good things, man. 3 things that I would like to do myself. Canoe Man says smash the like button, guys. All right, so let's get into our basketball screen. First of all, I love you guys, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're going to be taking this ride together on a Saturday afternoon. It's actually really nice in Montgomery. It's cold, though. Crystal in the house. One of our all-time favorites from the football times. What's up, Crystal? Yeah, it's kind of changed a little bit, the tenor, since we last talked. Well, I know you jumped in a basketball show not too long ago, but back during football season. Hugh Freeze guy. We've already got one. This is Love You, Jay. All right. I love it. Everybody gets up to date real quickly around here, and that's what I like. Okay, let's get onto our basketball front here. The Auburn Tigers updated over there on the schedule to reflect the 74-72 win over the hated Georgia Bulldogs, a game that I thought was going to get absolutely nuts. About 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left in the first half. Auburn was crushing the Dogs, and I'm trying to think. You had the backboard alley-oop to Devin, which I was like, oh, my God, they just killed Georgia basketball. And then, the second half gets off slowly, and that game is nip and tuck really from about, I wrote this down, about the last 9 minutes. It was, one team's up by a maximum of 4, and then once again, they get up. Georgia got up 2, and then they had a chance to go up more, and they failed to get the bucket. KD goes down and gets an uncontested drive, gets to the bucket without anybody there, ties it up. UGA comes down, get a decent shot for their shooting guard. They miss it. Walker gets the defensive rebound, and Wen gets, a shot, kind of rejected, kind of not, gets the putback, and Auburn wins the game. Very grindy kind of game. Remind me a lot of that Missouri game, although it kind of had a different reason for being tight. The Missouri game, Missouri was being super, super aggressive on the screens, on the machinations coming off the screens. Georgia was a little bit different. Georgia, I thought Auburn was just kind of playing sloppy basketball, honestly, and Auburn, Coach Sonny was saying on the broadcast that he wanted to see more reversals. He felt like it was just the offense was getting too hero ball-y. And KD, you kind of understand that. He played at Georgia. He really wants to be great at Georgia, to get back at them in a sense. And you kind of expect him to play some hero ball. But Wen was doing some of that too. And I thought they had opportunities to kind of run the offense and kind of skip past it across, either reverse it or skip past to try to attack the weak side a little bit, which is where Jabari does a lot of his damage. Didn't happen. You did not see that reversal. I don't understand why. I think BP is going to have some conversations about what happened today with that. Steve thought the officiating was horrible as usual. I thought it was okay. I thought Kessler's third foul, I think, when he blocked the three-point shot. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, that was a really bad call, but you just can't get hung up on this. You just can't get hung up on these calls. It's tough. It's tough. All right, let me go through a couple super chats from some of our all-time favorites who have come in already. Cleveland Brown, before we even went live. Glad we got the W. Still too damn close for me. Cleveland Brown, thank you. One of our channel legends and a great chatter, a great bunker member as well. War Eagle 0008 says, no sweat, War Damn Eagle. Need Allen to get it back going. I don't know if you mean Allen Flanagan or you need me Allen Green. Hey now, I'm making myself laugh. That's pretty lame, isn't it? Also missed Zep. Great point to bring up, War Eagle 0008. Zep Jasper out with a non-COVID illness. We think it's, non-COVID illness. And nothing, super dangerous. Just something where he's not feeling good and doesn't want to play and don't want to get everybody else sick, I guess, with it. Really forces some big changes to the way that the team got staffed, right? So I think Wynn ended up finishing, my eyes don't work as well as they used to, with 36 or 37 minutes, which is too many for him probably. He's certainly, skill-wise he's up to it, but I think he got wore down there late in the game. They didn't have anybody really to play behind him. I mean, Lior can't play point, but he can be a decent competent ball handler. He's out. Zep's out. And so that forces Wynn to play more minutes than normal, and it also puts Preston Cook, or P, as everybody calls him, into the game. I think he got 3 or 4 shifts. He's basically just a station-to-station guy when he gets in there. But, I mean, I think it was cool to see him have a chance to play some because I'm telling you, these guys work their butts off in practice. Preston's actually on scholarship, but I was going to try to commend the walk-ons, but he's been a walk-on before. Anyway. Casa DP says anytime Cook gets non-victory cigar minutes and we win, it's a good day. Well said. Well said. Without Zep, it's tough. And I've been a big Zep fan. I know a lot of you guys are as well. So it's just tough. Zep doesn't score a lot of points, so I think some people who are kind of casual basketball observers are like, well, you don't need Zep. And I'm like, oh, you do need Zep. Zep has some things that Auburn really, really needs, specifically really competent ball handler, very quick defensively. He's just always a defensive menace. And I think that he is more of an analytical administrator as point guard, whereas Wynn kind of flies by the seat of his pants. I don't mean that in a bad way. Zep, to me, is more likely to actually run the stuff that's called, get people in position, and I think they would have benefited from him a lot tonight. But they still got it done, and that's all that matters. McLevin AU says, I'll never complain about a win. On to Bud Walton Arena. It's going to be a big game, man. Big game against the hated Arkansas Razorbacks, a game that's going to have everyone's eyes in the SEC gazed upon the show. John S. says, JG, great close win, but at this point, we're going to get everyone's best shot. You're right. This is what it's like to be number one in the country. It's the Super Bowl every time you show up. And as somebody, I'm not trying to talk any shit here. I'm just saying I covered Kentucky for several years when they were number one for months at a time, and it was like this all the time. Every game was just a slugfest because everybody was trying to get you. Let's see. Corey Green, okay, my man, is actually going to answer my questions about the 3 best things that have happened since he's taken possession of the hat, and we're going to get to those. Stoop Up 74, keeping the streak alive. It's gone on for like a year now, maybe longer. I don't know. New day, new streak, another AU win. Great day, fam. Stoop Up, we love you, bro. Thank you for your support all the time. Underarms 2012 says, what's good, Jay Tate? Everything's great, Underarms. You're awesome. Glad to have you here. Successful underscore manager says, is this a trend on these road games, or are we just playing with lack of energy, and once we get up for an away game, we will get back to dominance? That's a good question. The last 2 road games have been kind of sloppy and messy, haven't they? And I think Auburn's played, 4 or 5? Let's go. Let's see what happens at Arkansas, okay, assuming that Auburn's back to full power minus Lior. and we'll just see how that goes. You might be onto something there, though. It's definitely something. I probably would have poo-pooed you, before this game, but I mean today we got some things to discuss. Late B says wins are wins. My man knows what he's talking about right there. Ruxy Poo's in the house. Has watched the first half, then the end, starting when it was 68-66 UGA. That was annoying. Glad I missed most of the second half. Yes, you came on at the right times, Ruxy Poo. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Come on, I'm dying to see what Corey. I know Corey was posting this stuff, and I know he's going to come through with some good answers too. Where's my man? Come on, JG. Ooh, I missed number 1. Son of a gun. It's kind of hard to keep up over here sometimes because we got a lot of folks talking. Corey, I can't see number 1. God dang it. Number 2 is basketball season like this after football season we had. And number 3, his property's back home in Bowling Green. That is your hometown. I love Warren County, Kentucky. Weren't touched during that tornado. Thank you, Coach Harson and JG. I had no idea, man. Are you a Greenwood High School person? Spent many a day in Warren County, Kentucky. Mostly at Western Kentucky University, but also had some friends from down that way. And south of there in Glasgow, which is, I know that is not exactly a suburb of Bowling Green, but nonetheless. I'm really glad to hear that your properties were not touched, bro. That's really good news. Corey Dubb in the house. What up? One of our favorite Montgomeryans in the hizzle. Let's see. Leif says, speaking of Kentucky, did you see that Billy Reed died? Oh, no. Did he really? Why do you have to bring me this bad news? Billy Reed was somebody I really... Oh, yeah, he did die. God dang it. Sorry, guys. I got to read this real quick. Billy Reed is one of the great sports writers in the state of Kentucky history. When I was first getting into the business, he was kind of like the older columnist at the Louisville Courier-Journal. And it does list him indeed. It says he had been fighting liver disease and had been hospitalized several times after a fall at his alma mater, Transylvania University, last summer. Unfortunately for me, says Reed was inducted into the U.S. Basketball Writers Hall of Fame, the Kentucky Journalism Hall of Fame, the Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, and the Transylvania University Hall of Fame as a highly regarded journalist. He won the Eclipse Award 3 times. I mean, I'm more jealous of that than anything. And was voted Kentucky Sports Writer of the Year 8 times. You know, one of the sad things for me, though, is that I met Billy Reed, me being a Transylvania University graduate and him being a Transylvania University graduate, and I thought that I would be like, hey, man, I'm a sports writer, and we're both Transy graduates, and there's like 3 of us who are both of those things. And he just kind of was like, oh, really cool. Like, he didn't give a shit at all. None. But that doesn't change the fact that guy's an absolute legend and one of the greatest to ever do it. He's not Chuck Culpepper, but he's pretty damn close. Rain 8689, rest in peace to Billy Reed. And also to Deezer, who we're still thinking about a lot. I'm going to be doing I'm going to write that down. We got to do a sound clip for Deezer. He used to call in about every 3rd week. And so we got to get a sound clip on that. Rain 8689 says that being out, one of the reasons we didn't get the ball to Jabari on more design plays and ISOs. Yeah, I think so. I kind of mentioned that earlier, that Zepp is kind of the better administrator, I think, at point guard, whereas Wen is kind of a fly-by-the-seat-of-his-pants guy, which is not a rag at all. I mean, Wen's a terrific player and a very ballsy shooter. I like that about him. And his unpredictability, I think, really messes with other teams. And Zepp's kind of like the thinking man's point guard. It's not to say that Wen's not smart. He is, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? He's more of a street brawler. And Zepp is more of a plotter, Plotter, not a Plodder, as horse racing fans might make that distinction. I think that is part of it. You know, even according to the head coach after the game, I think he said 4 or 5 guys did not have good games today, and he's talking about Jabari. I don't think Jabari did a lot to help his cause. He didn't shoot very well, and I didn't think he got open very much. So it's hard to kind of say he should get more shots. He should be in position to get more shots, and he should fight to get more shots. I don't necessarily think they were excluding him. So we kind of fuss about that a little bit. But not having Zepp out there, Rain, I agree. And thank you for your message the other day, bro. That was really awesome. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. Canoe Man says, we got dudes. That is a reference to AU Storm 20, saying that, it was that a couple months ago now, when the team was still in its greatness infancy. And he was kind of noting to everybody that Auburn's got so much depth. Actually, my wife asked me that earlier. She goes, why is Auburn so good? Is it because they have so many guys? And I was like, they've got dudes. That is the right answer. El Tigre Esquire, I saw you posted on the bunker earlier today, and I meant to tell you it's a great handle. War Drain Eagle. Hey, I like that. That's a WDE War Drain Eagle. I like that, El Tigre Esquire. Great handle, by the way. Auburn Dad for Life also says War Name Eagle, JG Tate, and the Drain. Look at that. He's calling people out. He loves folks. He just loves the family. Bob W. says, listen to JG and the Drain is one of my favorite forms of entertainment. We love that. We love to have you, bro. Casa DP. He's our own version of Where's Waldo. Eric E. says a win is a win. Won't matter in the end how close it was if we win the regular season SEC title. Need an Alabama win tonight. Great point, Eric. We got to watch that game tonight. Alabama at Kentucky. Boy, that's one of those games like Duke UNC. I don't know who you pull for. Nobody good to pull for there. That game is going to be at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock for our friends in the Eastern time zone, and will be a game that we need to keep an eye on. You guys are cracking me up. Blake Dees is coming to the Drain after an Auburn game, win or lose, but especially a win is amazing. Glad to have you, yo. CC, I married a CC once upon a time. Well, I'm still married to her, but her name's not CC anymore. Survived a second trap game. First one won at home against Kentucky, then squeaked by Missouri. So that was the first trap situation. The second one is won at home against the Bams, then squeaked by Georgia. 'Tis better to win than lose. I like that attitude. I think that's the right attitude. Spread Attack says, JG just texted me, says Wendell flying by the seat of his pants means more than what you think it does. Hey, guys, can we get on that? What? Yeah, it's idioms.com. And we'll see. Just do it. Thank you. Let's see. Underarms 2012. This is a great question almost every game. Maybe not today, but you said, what are your thoughts on Bruce refusing to call timeout when teams go on big runs? He called a timeout in the first half today. Yeah, Wade noticed that. Wade M says so. He actually did call a timeout. And Courtney was like, why is he not calling timeout? I said, well, he doesn't call timeout. He doesn't believe in it. He believes in them fixing their own shit. And then he called a timeout like 30 seconds later. He actually admitted on the show now, post-game, I should say, he usually takes a lot of pride in not calling timeouts because it's kind of one of his things. It's like a calling card for him. But he actually said on the show today that he regretted that. He said that because he had a short bench and he was having to play some people more shifts than normal, that he should have called timeout to give. Specifically, he said KD and Wen a breather because they played so many more minutes today than normal. And I'm telling you, man, when you're used to playing 28 and you go up to 35, it sounds like it's just 6 more minutes, but like minutes, if you guys played a lot of basketball, I'm not trying to talk, I'm not a great basketball player myself, but I've covered it a long time. When you play minutes 1 through 20, it's kind of like all the same. But once you go from 20 to 40, or let's say when you go from 30 to 40, like every minute past 30, I've been told many times, feels like an eternity. So it's just a big, big difference when you get up that high. It's funny because Tez Robertson, if you guys remember him playing point guard at Auburn back during the late Lebo days, I think. I can't remember who he played for. But Tez, anyway, he would routinely play 36 to 38 minutes a game. And I was always amazed by it. And nobody else was because he did it every night, you know. I remember a great time when he had gotten a really bad gash on his head, and then he started wearing a headband. And then even after the thing closed up, he continued wearing his headband. And I said, well, what's going to happen to you when you don't wear your headband anymore? And he goes, I guess I'll just be regular old Tez without a headband. This is one of my favorite quotes ever. I'll just be regular old Tez without a headband. Yeah, that's kind of where we thought we were going with this. SSIM008 says, all set. Got my drink. Ward Amigo, Colton Montgomery. Vacation in Mexico. I don't know if that's a topical joke. Is that a topical joke? Or are you actually there? Because if you're actually there, I'm jealous. Why am I not allowed to? Here, thank you. All right, there we go. This mouse is annoying me. It's doing weird things right now. Let me make this go away or something. I don't know. It's not letting me move this super chat for some reason. Old man problems. Old man problems. There we go. Thank you, Jay. Finally, guys, thank you. Thanks for your help. I'd like to be on vacation in Mexico. Actually, two of our friends, the McDaniels, are down in Mexico right now, according to the face to chat. Diego C says JG Beast. Thank you. I love it. Have you had Blanton's Blue Label? Oh, shiz, man. Do I know about Blanton's Blue Label? Have I seen it? I've seen like a purple label. Is that the one you're talking about? I don't know as I've ever even heard of a Blue Label. I'm jealous, man. You just send me a picture of that. I do have some bourbon with me here. This will be like the 6th consecutive day I've drank bourbon. If I do, well, I'm going to. I'm not proud of it, but I'm just being real about it. I've got the Rabbit Hole Derringer here, which is a bourbon. I think this is sourced. I don't know. I think this is still some source stuff from Rabbit Hole in Louisville, rather, and then they finish in sherry casks. That's kind of an interesting taste to it, a little bit of a twist on the end there. We've had a lot going on, guys, so there's been a lot of reasons to have a sip or two, you know. Just being real about it. Elijah says, are you watching any other games? I'll definitely be watching the Kentucky-Alabama game tonight. I don't know what the time is, but I know Arizona and USC are playing today. Couldn't care less about Duke and North Carolina because Krzyzewski, if he loses every game from here on out, that would not be enough for me. So it's probably just those two, really. Mama Dudette said, really missed Raheem Barrett out there today. Wasn't it Rasheem? Rasheem Barrett? Out there today, speaking of Lebo days. This is what I thought about Rasheem.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
He was always a cool dude, though. But it seemed like he was kind of up and down as a player. Daniel P., metal fan, guy I met this week, I could say firmly. This is a week where I got to hang out with metal fan. Says, glad we got the win, but we've got to find a way to get more shots to Jabari. I mean, he also needs to be better and make himself more available. It's not as simple as, well, we'll just go ahead and give him shots. Like he has to earn the shots. Not because he's a good player. I'm saying like on the court, he's got to get into position to get the ball and then do what he does. And then when he gets the ball, hit him. I don't know. Maybe that's a weird take. I don't know. Let's see. A. Texman says, yes, was in the heart of the Lebo years. Same class as Vaught Barber. Very nice. All right. Talking about Tez. The years get away from me a little bit. Jordan's Scream Factory says, say hi to Hars down there, S. Sims. That's where I thought we were going. Canoe Man says, we're all going to Mexico in November with BP and Du Bois. Great point, Canoe Man. Are you going to be rolling, bro? Are you going for real? I would love to go on one of those trips just one time. You know what I mean? Like when they go to Bahamas or Maui, but just my luck, it'll end up being the freaking Alaska shootout. We'll be in Fairbanks or some shit like that. It'll be the one time I go. Let's see. War Eagle 0008 says, KD pressed really hard today. I'm sure VP will point that out. Yeah, I thought he pushed too hard. And I mean, for reasons that we all kind of understand. And BP didn't seem particularly frustrated with him on the court. You know, when he was clocking in and clocking out, it didn't seem like BP was crawling his ass too much at all. Unlike Devin, who was playing some absolute balls today, right? Like he had the incredible alley-oop play, and he had a couple other good ones, but he also fouled twice on three-point shots, and he had two of those like Devin turnovers where he's not even looking. He's trying to just like very flippantly, just like one time he was trying to pass the ball behind his back. Another time he had just taken a ball off like the inbound and just kind of was handing it off without looking. And I'm just like, that's the stuff that drives BP insane. And it's why Devin is not a better player than he is. I don't understand. Cassadee says Coach K is the worst. Thank you for knowing that. Frank G says, do we stay at 1 on Monday? Yes. Auburn's going to stay at 1 until they lose. Period. That's the way it is. Late B says on Thursday, Green River Distillery is launching their label. If you find some at the store, I suggest you get some. Can we just get some anyway, even if we're not at the store? Green River Distillery, I need to learn a little bit more about that. I know about the Green River Parkway. I don't know if it still exists, but it's down that way, right? Is it some stuff out of like Owensboro or whatever? Papa Cotty says, Coach Krujewski. Cassadee says, I really think Jabari's game on offense feeds off his defense. His defense today didn't get him going. Yeah, like it was just kind of an average day for him, which is still pretty good. I mean, for most players, right? Let's see. He had 7 points on 2 of 7 shooting, 6 boards, 3 turnovers, 1 block, and 1 steal, -1 in 31 minutes plus minus, which is on par for the team. Just kind of a solid average. Not average for him, probably a little below average, but solid day for a regular basketball player, a mortal basketball player. Rob says Stegeman smells like rank ADD. Oh man, that's as long as the hump is alive and doing what it does. Stegeman will not be the worst stadium in the league, but it's close. It's not great. I remember going there in the 90s when I was a student in Kentucky and being like, man, this place sucks. And that was like coming up on 30 years ago. Yeah. Auburn alumni who knows his basketball says Jabari has got to start demanding the ball. He's similar to Chuma. They both can be too nice when they should be the ball hog. Yeah, I feel like Jabari's a little more. I know exactly what you're talking about with Chum. I feel like Jabari's a little more assertive, but today I think you've got a great point. I think that was definitely a problem. Again, the people who say, well, Jabari needs to get more shots, that's just a very elementary way to look about it. It's he's got to want them, he's got to get them, and they have to work into the system. You don't just say, well, fuck it. He's got to have 8 touches. Here we go. Like you got to get there. That's really what's happening to Al right now is he's not understanding how to get there. Frank G says, Jay, do you think Bama's airplane hangar run continues or does UK bring them down? That game's at Rupp, isn't it? Man, I can't believe Billy Reed died. Son of a gun. I'm just typing this in real quick to see where that game is. No, it is at Bam Bam's. My bad. That is a mistake by me. Hey, I think Bammers can win that game. I really do. I can't hardly sit here and cheer for them. I can't cheer for either one of those teams. I'm so bothered by the people. My Kentucky friends that text me now are always doing their UK blabber, snabber, and I'm just like, I'm sick of it now. And all I ever say back is some shit about Ty. Like JBDC Elite texted me earlier. He's like, wow, what a play by Devin on the alley-oop. And I was like, well, he would have gotten higher if Ty hadn't gotten hurt. Because all they do is cry about Ty getting hurt. It's just boring, and it's trite, and it's bullshit, and I'm so ready for Auburn to beat them with Ty Washington in the lineup the whole 40 minutes. Ravine says, holy hell, glad we got the win. Really missed Zepp's defense. Still haven't played a whole 40 minutes of basketball. War damn Eagle. Ravine, of course, one of our channel legends, who was with us, who really was a star during the quarantine, but who's awesome all the time. And thanks, Ravine. Appreciate you. And you're right about Zepp's defense. It's very, very valuable. The peoples who know their basketball know that, you got to have Zepp in there. He's a great defender. He's a real problem for the other team. And also, again, he's a very calm man when his hand is on the ball. Cody Man says the hump is a poor man's BMC. I think I'm going to give a laugh on that. Although, I think you're 100% correct. That's a legitimately terrible arena. I mean, are they even talking about trying to bump that place up? It's horrible. Bob says UK. He's predicting UK is going to beat the Bam Bams. Probably rather Alabama beat them, but I have a hard time getting behind any of that. In fact, I got in a row last night with one of my friends who's a Bam Bam, and she was doing the whole thing where she's like, "Tell me that what's going on with Harsin." And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell a Bam Bam like a bunch of my personal views on the Harsin thing because you're a Bam Bam, and all you want to do is rag on Auburn. I'm telling you guys, people ask me that all the time, and it used to just be, when I was younger, I just got annoyed by that, which is dumb. It's a bad reaction, so I got over that. And now it's like when people ask me shit like that, I always want to be like, are you an Aub or are you a Bam Bam? Because if you're a Bam Bam, I tell you a different story than if it's an Aub, right? I mean, if it's an Auburn person, I try to be real about it. If it's a Bam Bam, I kind of go, well, looks pretty good. And also, Auburn just beat Alabama back-to-back in basketball, did they not? Oh, and Auburn, Bama lost at Georgia, right? Let's see, Wargles 008 says Chuma was and is also a better finisher. Well, I mean, they're kind of different players, right? I mean, because Chum was kind of a powery type player who also had the range, and I think of Jabari as the range guy who doesn't really have much power. But they're both fours, and they're both good three-point shooters, and they're both funny people. Although Chum is more of a moon unit guy, like just kind of he's like on a different wavelength than the rest of us. And Jabari's just a nice guy. Like he's not on a different wavelength. Papa C says, I don't think Jabari was feeling it today. I have to agree with you on that. Alex W says, can we say that Chris Moore may deserve more of Allen's minutes now? Did Chris play today? He got one shift for 3 minutes. Auburn alumni says we're walking into a hornet's nest on Tuesday night. Yes. Auburn alumni, AU Storm 20, myself, Crocky Poo, Davison Tiger have been talking about this for a while now, that we felt like the Arkansas game was going to be a real test for Auburn. Arkansas has been playing great basketball, and they are really problematic at home, and it's so far away that Auburn's not going to be able to have a lot of support there the way that it did today in Stegeman. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man. If Jabari is going to go off and Walker's going to ball up and not get fouls, not get lured into fouls, I think Auburn can win that. I mean, Auburn's going to win that game, but you know how that kind of comes and goes, man. They haven't learned how to assert themselves necessarily on the attacking end with the kind of consistency that I think BP would prefer. Let's see, Ravine says he's on the road right now. I feel like Ravine is always on the road, taking the drain mobile. What are you cranking? Oh, no, what are you drinking? Oh, Auburn alumni says, I'm cheering for Coleman to collapse. Best outcome. Oh, we don't want to see people injured. Come on now. I know you're just fooling around. Frank, what's noted, did Wendell Green look a little gassed out there today? Hell yeah, he did. He averages about 28 minutes per game, and he played 36, almost 37 tonight. And again, when you go, if you're talking about the difference between 5 minutes and 10 minutes, well, 5 minutes doesn't really matter. When you talk about the difference between 26 minutes and 37 minutes, and that's an 11-minute difference, you say, well, shit, it's just another 11 minutes. But those are tough-ass minutes, man. Those last 11 minutes or last 8 minutes in the second half when you played like the whole first half and you played all the second half, it's just really, you have to really dig deep, man. And I thought he did. If you saw him after that putback that put Auburn ahead with like 4 seconds left, I mean, he was so tired he couldn't even cheer. And when Wendell is so tired he can't cheer, you know he's tired, man. And so really a lot of credit to that young man for pushing through in a difficult personnel situation and playing a fine game. I didn't think he had his best stuff today. I thought he did in the beginning. I mean, he hit a couple long-range threes, but he had to grind through this game like everybody else. And he finished. My eyes don't work very well. I'm like the old man from Up going, what did you say? 19 points on 5 of 17. But 6 of 7 at the line. 3 assists, 3 turnovers. Anonymous says, can't spell sucks without UK. I love it, man. That's good. That's good. LT Gray Esquire says, if Alabama builds that barn, then they forfeit any right to calling Auburn a cow college. Dude, they've already forfeited it. Bruce Pearl owns their program. So they need to just kind of worry about not basketball. And now Auburn's like beating them in gymnastics somewhat consistently, so they don't even have that anymore. It's just football, and then someday Saban's going to retire, and then you got to wonder if he's even going to do that. Cleveland Brown said, is it a hornet's nest or a mud pit? Pocket Watch says, Cal College is dated and dumb to begin with. Only thing sadder is Auburn fans who take offense to it. Yeah. Anyone who's set foot on the Auburn campus in the last 10 years, right, which is probably almost all of us, it ain't a Cal College. Maybe there was a day a long, long time ago when it wasn't as up to date as it could be. But the Auburn campus these days, it looks as modern and nice as really anywhere you would go. All they do over there is build. Like literally there's something going up every minute of every day for the last 10 years. And the new buildings look terrific. The student center looks, it's been updated in some ways. I meant to say the student act, which used to be kind of shady, is just absolutely brilliant and beautiful. So many great buildings over there. And, yeah. It ain't Cal College. It's stupid. Frank says, JGT, do you think a game like today's may help us against Arkansas? You damn better believe it. Hell yeah. I mean, we could see what was going on where the offense just, I don't really want to say it bogs down because I don't think it was anything Georgia was doing. I think that they just kind of mentally bogged down a little bit. Auburn did. And they weren't running their stuff. And part of that's because Zepp wasn't out there. And KD and when things are kind of tight, they just want to put the ball in their hands and extricate their team from disaster, which is a laudable thing. But against a team like Georgia, you just got to run your stuff. And a big part of Auburn's attack is attacking from the weak side, luring a team to one side of the court, either skip passing it or reversing it and letting Jabari attack from the backside. They didn't do much of that. They weren't running their stuff. And I'm sure it frustrates BP, and he's going to show them in film on Monday. Or tomorrow. They'll talk a lot about it tomorrow, I bet. LT Gray said it would be a pig pen, right? I love that. We're getting into it like that. That's good stuff. Auburn Alumni says the biggest missing piece on this team is the biggest missing piece. All right. When the biggest missing piece of a team is their fourth true guard. It's one of the trio. If one of the trio is out for any reason, we have problems. I mean, yeah, but everybody has problems, bro. Everybody has problems. I was talking to a coach the other day, Friday, who is not in the SEC, and he had watched Auburn play a couple times, actually more than a couple, and it was his opinion, he's my age, and he thought this was the most complete college basketball team he has ever seen. And I said, and he knew about the 98 Kentucky team that won the national title over the Utah Utes. And he said he thought that this team was better because it had Jabari. Because it had the similar kind of... This team does remind me of the UK team in 98 that had so many really good players. But it didn't have a Jabari. Jabari's an odd one, though. Like Jabari, we know Jabari's a great player. I mean, we know this. We've seen... I mean, you're not 6'10". He can dribble. He can shoot threes. He can shoot twos. He can finish fairly well. Great free throw shooter. He's good at everything. But it's not very often he takes over a game. And I think when it comes time for the NBA draft and these teams are really starting to kind of think about drafting him 1 or 2, I wonder if they think that's going to be a problem. They'll say, well, show me a game where Jabari just completely took it over, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if we've seen it yet, but he's still coming along. Frank G says the Utes got to the national championship game. Yes, they did. They had Keith Van Horn. They had Andre Miller. They had a guy named Michael Doliak. And Casa DP says, what does he say here? I still think this is the 96-97 UK team. That was the team that lost in Indianapolis to Arizona. That had, Ron Mercer and all those fuckers. Against that Arizona team that had Miles Simon and Mike Bibby and those clowns. I hate him. I hate Miles Simon so bad. I actually got into like a playful Twitter feud with him. This is back when he was an ESPN commentator, and I ended up having a chance to shoot around with him at Auburn Arena many years ago, and I appreciated him doing that with me. He is now back in the NBA doing some coaching. But, man, I hate Miles Simon, and I had a chance to tell him to his face. Fat Crack's in the house, my man. Sitting in my climber about 30 feet up watching and cut over a green field. Is going to be a great hunt. Draining and hunting. Boom. The brain drain will be my good luck. Ward M. Eagle, sir. Fat Crack, I appreciate you, bro. One of our channel legends out there remotely taking a listen to what we're talking about here today on The Drain. Glad to have you, bro. Yeah, Cassidy P says the Utes had the big man Rick Majerus at the helm. What a great dude, man. I talk about him about once a month on the show. If you haven't read The Life and Times of Rick Majerus on SI by S.L. Price, you got to read it. It's one of my 5 favorite sports stories ever written in my lifetime, and it's just brilliant. About a very interesting person. For those of you who don't know who that is, Rick was the coach at Utah when they were really good in the 90s and 2000s, and then he ended up coaching at St. Louis, and then passed away at the age of, I don't know, he's probably about 65. You know, there's some very interesting parallels between Rick and BP. Both were guys from the Northeast. Both were guys that were very good college basketball players, but were very affable people who really cared about the game and really understood how to market. BP's a little more of a conventional human being than Rick Majerus was. He's also a little thinner, but they both had that larger-than-life Falstaffian thing going, you know? And needless to say, both of them were tremendous, tremendous basketball coaches. You know, I'd ask BP about that. I wonder if he knew Majerus. Sam H. jumps in with a super chat. Of course, Sam H., one of our channel legends and just an absolute legend in a general sense. What up, JG? Weird game. Came up clutch in the end. Excuse me, my eyes aren't what they used to be. What are your thoughts on Jabari and Kessler not getting going in this game? I thought Walker played essentially his usual game, which is to say he had a great game. Blocked some shots. I think he had 4 blocks, and then he affected more. He had some clutch rebounds, including the last defensive rebound of the game was really important. And I don't think he's going to be a focal point of an attack at any point unless you consider him catching lobs as the focal point of an attack. To me, that's still kind of an ancillary thing that you do to kind of soften up a defense to hit them in other ways. John D says Rick Majerus lived at a hotel. He sure did. He never felt like he needed to set up roots, and he always liked to have people cleaning up after him. He's pretty open and honest about that. If you read the Life and Times of Rick Majerus, you will learn a little bit about that. Such an interesting character and one of my favorite basketball characters. Let's see. Cassidy pieces, Miles Simon and Coach K are somehow blood related to Marshall Henderson.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Most of the time it's the latter on those two. Miles was cool about it, though. I like him. Let's see. Mama Doodat says, let's enjoy this and work up to the football talk. I'm not ready yet. Wow, who is this at Joshua Davis character? I know one thing, he's not a bunker, right? Who is he saying something dumb? And also, for those of you who were on the stream we did Thursday night, I ended up shutting that thing down because we were getting inundated with like racist comments in the chat, and I was blocking them. I accidentally hit add to broadcast one time for like half a second instead of banning, which they're right next to each other on my screen, and so it posted it up here, which is horrible. But those of you who were watching the chat and stuff, really awful names. Makes me disgusted to see that. And I ended up eliminating the videos from YouTube because I didn't ever want anyone to go back through that and see that in the chat. I didn't want the chat to replay for these folks and to see those horrible names. So that, if you guys are wondering, that's why those videos are no longer on the internet. And I hate it because we had some great conversation and we had a good time on the stream. But yeah, that was bogus, man. Shane H jumps in. One of our, he's been around a bunch. What up, JG? What up, everyone? Glad we dodged that one. That would have been a horrible loss. Yes, that would have been a big one on the Ken Palm. In the Ken Palm world, it would have been very, very bad. Doug B says, is our ranking safe or not? I think, hell yeah. I'm just one of those people that think, if you're number one and you win, you stay number one. I mean, Gonzaga hasn't lost, and so you lose a little bit. But they use a little bit of ground, I guess. But, I mean, for me, it's like if I'm a voter, I've been a voter before. It's been a while. But back in those days, like if a team like Auburn is streaking and a team like Gonzaga is playing their usual, array of turd burglars and ne'er-do-wells like they do in their conference or whatever, I don't find it interesting. So I would move a team like Auburn up. And if it was the Bam Bams, I would say the same thing. Let's see. Eddie says, #stand with Harsin. Come support our coach, Brian Harsin, this Sunday, February 6th at 2 p.m. at Toomer's Corner. Support him. I don't know what that means. Canoeman says, BP does not live in a hotel. This is true. BP has a home. You're right about that. Important differences there. Let's see. Canoeman says, we're going for greatness around here, and you are a big part of it at Sam Howell. Yeah, there we go. Very good. Who is Joshua Davis? Am I missing something? War Eagle 0008 says, Gonzaga plays no one and has lost twice. Shouts out to them for beating the Pepperdine. Guys, big win over Pepperdine. Congratulations, Coach Few. Talk about beating the Waves for the 35th time in a row. It was tough, man. I mean, that team from Malibu, they really had some toughness out there. Jeez. Farm Data jumping in for another show. Look at this. This guy's a legend, man. Jumping in. One of our most intelligent bunker posters. Says, unlike UAT, Super Chat can't pay the full 74. So we played like an old $20 bill, flat and soft. Love it, man. Super Chat can't pay the full 74. Turds. Oh, you guys are playing your little game with Joshua Davis. Okay, I got it now. Took me a minute. Let's go ahead. Appreciate you, Farm Data. Thank you for that, sir. Let's see. I want to look at a couple things here. Let's go ahead and go over to our box score page. And I want to get the Ken Palm pulled up, and we'll just kind of take a little gander at that. You know Billy Reed died, Courtney? Aww. Did you hear that? Well, I don't want to say too much because he's the guy that blew me off when I told him that I was a sports writer. Actually, at that time, I was an aspiring sports writer. He probably was like, this cross-eyed dipshit's going to be a sports writer? I don't think so. Anyway, even Courtney knows who Billy Reed is. All right, so Ken Palm's got Auburn down to 7 now, which is a drop from 5, I think. According to this data, they were number 5 coming into this game and have dropped to 7. But, Ken Palm puts a lot of emphasis on road games. I think it's too much emphasis on road games. Come here. Get on the screen there. Ooh, JG. I don't need the whole screen on it. Yeah, I get it, man. Takes me a minute. Just takes me a minute. Auburn Dad for Life says, hey, JG Tate, a win is a win. Hey, I mean, I'm speaking that truth, bro. I'm just saying that Ken Palm really it puts a lot of value on how a team performs on the road. And I mentioned this on the not on the podcast, on the bunker, I think on Tuesday, about how Auburn's road games really haven't exhibited Auburn at their best. I mean, Auburn's best wins this year have all been either on the road, neutral, or at home. I mean, being loyal to Chicago's a good win. That was down in the Bahamas. You know, obviously, Bam Bam on the road was a good one. Kentucky at home was a good one. LSU at home was a good one. Murray State at home was a good one. Florida at home was a good one. You know, so most of this stuff is at home. Oklahoma's a good one. Yeah, War Eagle 00008 says, what's Ken Palm's deal? They love the Zags. Well, they also put a big, you could argue that they put the biggest value on the difference, the chasm between your adjusted efficiency, both offense and defense. And they think that number right there is indicative of how good your team is. And I you know, in lieu of like a better way, that's probably the best way. I mean, if you say, okay, Auburn has an adjusted offensive efficiency of this number and an adjusted defensive efficiency of this number, and that chasm between those two numbers is generally a good indicator of, you know, how much better you are than the people you're playing. The question is, when you adjust efficiency, you've got to put some kind of a variable in there, and I don't know how you do that because the quality of the opponent for Auburn is much more difficult, I think, than the average quality of opponent for a team like Gonzaga, who's playing a bunch of goobs. It's all tough, though, man. War Report's in the house. It's almost always Mike G doing the War Report thing when he's out here being an emissary. So we appreciate Mike G, of course. Grindworks asks how I'm doing. I am doing wonderfully. Thank you for asking. We're out here just making it happen day by day. Yeah, so Ken Palm is looking that way. Auburn, of course, far and away number one in the country in block percentage. And they're top 15 both. Look at the puss.
Sammy says hello.
Sammy, you want to say hello to the peoples? Do you like being on the air? Do you like Bam Bams? No. Do you like it when the Auburn Tigers win?
My cousin.
Is your favorite player Zep Jasper? Yeah, that's what I thought. I had that feeling. All right, puss. There he is, Sammy the Cat. We believe he is now 15 years old. Or
16.
Possibly as old as 16, yeah. Do we want to talk about football at all?
Is there anything newsworthy?
No. I mean, there's not been much going on, but I'm kidding. Guys, seriously, I was joking. Sheesh. Yeah, I got accused of being, let's see, somebody on Twitter accused me of trying to take down Auburn, I think, with my lies. And then somebody on the bunker was trying to say that I was spreading lies or something. I don't know. So to some people, like when there's an accusation of racism, like there has been, it's hard to discern like who really thinks that's been going on and who's just using that to try to prize Harsin out of here. But the accusation has been made, and they think that it's my fault. Like, why would you bring that up, JG? I'm like, because I'm telling you what's going on. They're like, don't do it. You can't report it. Why? I love it. Auburn alumni says, God, no. War Eagle 0008 says, what's a football? We also get a super chat from the War Report. Guys we know well, and guys we like a lot. Yeah, I know Mike G the best, but I deal with Ike some too, and he's good people. I haven't hung out with B. Will or Caesar as much, but I'm sure they're good people too. War Report says Sammy is not amused and does not have time for your games, but he's sitting right here.
Yeah.
He loves sitting by his daddy.
Hey, what's some swag?
What now?
We need a swag shop.
No, we don't want to get a swag shop
Why not?
because the War Report swag shop is good enough.
What about it?
If you want swag, you go to their stop.
Why can't you have swag?
He's got a double dribble shirt up there. That's.
Can't you have swag?
I mean, yeah, but no, Not really. Let's see. Sam says JG going at people on the bunk during a live game thread is awesome. Was this when I was going at Tiger Catch? I tried to keep it real on wax. I wasn't trying to be nasty. He was trying to post some stuff from Hoke, and I was just like, don't do that. Please don't. And then he kind of had that, well, I have a right to do it. And I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. I mean, I like Tiger Catch. I like him being on the bunker. I don't want to get into a fuss with him. But at the same time, when he's sitting out there saying that I'm like spreading lies or whatever, I'm just like, Kadeeman says I would not mind a brain drain hoodie.
Told you.
I think the first thing we should put up is I love at administrative assistant. I think that should be the number one thing because I think that's one that everybody could get behind. I should probably change my words on that. That's one that everybody could be excited about. It would have a lot of, I don't know. Cleveland Brown says, how about Commodore against administrative assistant on NBA Jam?
That's not fair.
Yeah, she knows how to kick her butt on that game. Sam H says, yes, Tiger Catch was just being childish. I think he was just, he lives over in Georgia, and he's probably not very happy he was hoping, like everybody, that Auburn's going to crush their butt. Didn't quite happen that way, but they did win, so everybody's good. Pocket Watch says, as in you would pay for a brain drain hoodie, Canoe Man, or would you just want one? Let's see. Corey Weber's getting some louding here. It says, you're welcome, fam, for the double dribble shirt. Yeah. He said, and Mike G said that was a Corey Dub special, the idea for that. And by the way, the best part of the T-shirt is that it is a true statement. That Virginia did, in fact, double dribble. We know this. It's a fact. And, yeah. Auburn Dad for Life says, by the way, JG, what are we drinking after this close win? We're drinking this Derringer Rabbit Hole, which is I believe they sourced this. This is from Louisville. Rabbit Hole is a relatively new distillery in Louisville. I think they are just now putting out their own stuff, their own juice. But at the time I bought this, which was like a year and a half ago, they weren't. And this is finished in sherry casks. I don't know if you can get this one at Alabama ABC. I see I've seen the Cave Hill lately, and I think it is it's the High Gold. The High Gold is what I see in there. So it's the blue one and the black one. This red one, I don't necessarily see that. We got this in Florida, Cordy, I think. So that's where we are. Chip says, I don't make hoodies. No, he makes glasses. Harson's down in Mexico, you guys. Pretty fired up, huh? It's a good place to be, I guess, Courtney. We've been to Mexico a few times.
He's got the cartel, or he comes back here and gets the Auburn fans. Which way is it going to be?
The Auburn fans, look, they're having a march to support Harsin. They stand with Harsin.
I don't think it's all the
I think it's tough. Like, if you're married to somebody and they're accused of something, like, you stand by them. I mean, if you got accused of something, I would stand by you, obviously. But, I mean, if it's a football coach, I don't know, man. I feel like I'd want to know what's going on first. Huh?
his trashy wife and
Don't. That's not very nice. Oh, I looked up at my my number of people on the stream, and it said 1, and I was like, not again. But it's back. We have the same number as normal. Jay Battle says, I don't know how you feel about this one, Miss Courtney, but he says, kind of strange to have a black AD who would hire a racist coach, so I doubt it's racism. I got a couple problems with that statement right there. First of all, I don't understand what anyone's race has to do with someone's behavior. Second of all, I don't think you don't necessarily hire. Yeah, I don't know. We just got to figure out what's real and what's not. Just like Dr. Goosh said yesterday, that they're going to work to discern fact from fiction. I think that's the right thing to do. And until that happens, I can't give you a hot take. I'm not really into hot takes anyway. Cleveland Brown trying to be a little bit of a jerk here. Speaking of soccer, how about Man United getting bounced out of the FA Cup on PKs? Cry, laugh, cry, laugh, cry, laugh, cry, laugh. I'm not happy about that, Cleveland Brown, I'll have you know. And thank you for bringing it up, jerk. I've been a United fan for a long time, and we have certainly seen better days. And we have this huge roster full of expensive players who don't play well at all together. It's very disappointing. Cassidy P says, I'm going with E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Needs some heat. Well, you'll certainly find it there, my man. You'll certainly find it there. The answer is yes, Mike G. Sure. Of course. Yeah, Jay Battle. I don't know, man. We just got to kind of get to the bottom of this before I start. I don't have any hot takes on this really, and I don't feel comfortable getting into too much until I understand who's dealing with who here. You know, I've got I don't really feel comfortable talking about it publicly, but I've got a real good idea what this accusation of racism. I know exactly what led to this. And I've tried to tell you as much as I can about it on the bunker, where I think it's more of a socioeconomic thing than it is racism for me. I am not arbiter. I am not a judge and jury. I am merely a message board moderator. But I have not come across anyone, and I've talked to several people about Harsin, people who know Harsin. I have not come across anyone who has said to me, yeah, I think that guy's racist. Nobody said that. This is including black people who have worked for him. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's like, God bless, that guy's a raging racist. I can't believe he's gotten away with it this long. Not even close. But that doesn't mean he hasn't done something that, is kind of shady. I don't know. That's for somebody else to decide, not me. But the people that want him gone, they don't care. They just want him gone. I still don't think he's going to make it. But I think he's going to get paid a whole lot more than folks were thinking that he would. Not you folks. I'm talking about the folks that put this thing together. They thought they were going to get away with $0. You're not getting a dime, brother. Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying that. They better not. I mean, Sonny Galloway was a goof, right? Brian Harsin ain't a goof. He ain't a dummy. He's a bright dude. And he works hard and he's industrious. This is not some... Yeah, this is a different situation altogether. We've got a super chat coming through from some of the most legendaries. Canoe Man, of course. Do you think these Harsin affair rumors are being spread by the powers that be that never wanted him there in the first place? Canoe Man, if you want my opinion, yes. I also wrote this on the bunker, and I'll continue to talk about it here, much to Sterling's dismay, but those accusations or rumors, however, I don't know what noun you want to use there, are not part of this effort, at least officially, to get rid of Harsin. So it's not like they're sitting there going, yeah, well, this guy's a bad coach, and he's doing this and that, he's doing this with his assistant or whatever. Like, that's not even part of it. It's not even part of it. That's something that everybody's chattering about, but it's not something that's actually he's having to face. And I think it's important to delineate that. I just think that was more about currying public opinion. Sam H. jumps in again. What an absolute legend this guy is. Harsin stuff is all noise. Kind of disappointed in Stulte bringing up hiring Freeze on a whim. Come on now, it's basketball season. I mean, it's not like Stultz just like, before this all breaks down, just lays out a argument for keeping Freeze. He's asked questions, particularly in the Twitter space yesterday, specifically about Hugh Freeze and his viability. And Stulte has some. He knows Freeze pretty well, and he's got some. He's got some developed answers about that. And so, to me, I don't think he's pushing an agenda. I think he just asks questions and. Yeah, El Tigre Esquire, man, people have asked me to do this. Socioeconomic, give an example. It's all right, let's just talk about this in hypotheticals, okay? This is just like a hypothetical situation here that I think would show the difference between what I'm talking about. All right, here's the hypothetical. You're out recruiting a bunch of kids, right? And you're recruiting kids from different races and different backgrounds, and because sometimes you're recruiting guys from a private upper class school in St. Augustine, and sometimes you're in inner city Atlanta, And it's a lot of different kinds of kids coming from a lot of different kinds of backgrounds. If a coach were to consistently deny scholarship offers to players that he would say are not a good fit, and people started kind of recognizing that he would often say that about an inner city kid, but not say that about a kid from a more upper class family, black or white. This isn't like, oh, it's all black kids and all white kids. And no. I'm talking about specifically an inner city kid who maybe talks with more slang, has his hair longer. Again, this is all theoretical. And then if coaches were to kind of realize, wait a minute, he never okays scholarships for inner city kids, but he loves kids from upper class families who maybe have shorter hair, who call people sir and ma'am. That, to me, you could argue is not a racist thing. It's a socioeconomic thing, right? It's not black or white. It's more like, I don't know. To me, that would not seem racist to me, but I'm a white guy, okay? So my answer isn't necessarily the right one. And my vantage point is not necessarily the right one. I'm telling you this out loud. I mean, I know. But to me, that would be a situation where it's more socioeconomic than racism. Now, some people could hear that story and say, that's racism. He won't do it because it's inner city kids, you know? And maybe that's right. I'm just telling you my vision of it, my opinion of it. So there you go. It also reminds me of the Chappelle Show sketch where they're like, oh, he's so well-spoken. That family's really going places, you know. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Let's see. J Battle 34 says, absolutely agree. Just thought it was a baseless claim. To me, baseless would be you just fabricate it. Like if I say right now that, you know, I don't know, I could make something up about Miss Courtney, but I wouldn't do that. I value being married to my gal here, but that would be just a complete fabrication. I don't think these are fabrications. I think these are legitimate accusations. I just don't know if they're true. You know what I mean? Like people think this, the things that they're kind of hitting Harsin with, and I'm not talking about the silly personal conduct stuff. I'm talking about the real stuff. People have said this. They're not made up, but we don't know if they're legit or not. I don't know. That's going to be decided, and that's why when people say, JG, how long is this going to go? I say it's going to take time because discerning between truth and fiction ain't something you can do in 24 hours. And that's what Dr. Goosh said they were going to do. And, yeah, that's what they're going to do. Let's see if I can get AU Storm 20 here on the horn. AU Storm 20, what's up, bro?
JG, what's going on, man?
Word, man. We're glad to have you on the air, bro.
Yeah, happy to be on.
And you have already been referenced today on the show when somebody said, we got dudes.
Hey, I know one thing. I've always known one thing, and that one thing is we got dudes. Sometimes those dudes show up. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get cold. Sometimes they get hot. But in the end, we got dudes.
You got a lot of dudes, yeah. You know. And also, you could use that for a men's stripping review. But we'll talk about that another time. This team is incredibly deep. Actually, my wife asked me earlier, she says, why is this Auburn team so damn good? Is it because they're so deep? And I said, yes, ma'am. It's because they're so deep. They are. They got so many guys. They were a little short today, though, AU Storm 20.
Yeah, and look, like when Zepp was announced that he was out, I kind of thought, hey, you know, if there's a game that he could be out, it's this one. You know, and I think for the first half we kind of saw that, you know, hey, it'll be okay without him. But, you know, missing him turned out to be huge and massive. And I hope people now give him the respect that he deserves on just how good of a defensive point guard, just a floor general, takes care of the ball. I mean, this team runs at a different half-court offensive style, you know, with him in. And it shows that I think with him in the second half, if he was there, probably would have been a blowout. But yeah, I mean, we're so deep, and we played two huge games last week, very emotional games. Dudes looked tired, but because of how deep we were, I think that's what helped us win the game today. I mean, that's, I think, plain and simple. Without that depth, without that ability to go to your bench, we probably would have lost. So it's key and it's huge. And I think you're going to see those type of wins and those type of that depth pay off in March, because that's what will help you win championships. Is having that depth, being able to go to your bench if a guy's out, if a guy is not playing his best. It's key, especially when you're tired after playing 2 massive games, and you got to turn around Tuesday and go play 40 minutes of hell up in Arkansas. Boy, that's going to be a tough one. But
yeah,
it's going to be key with how deep we are.
Who's your MVP from this game right here against Georgia?
That's tough. I don't know if – I think towards the end, Kessler's defensive, just him being in there with the ability to alter a few shots there at the end helped. I think Wendell played a little out of control, and he played he turned the ball over a lot. He took a lot of bad shots, but at the end, he made the shot that mattered. So probably him, just with the way that, he had to play a lot of minutes, and I don't think he's used to that. I think he really had to step up there, and I think he learned and grew a lot. So I'm probably going to go with him.
All right.
KD is probably right there, but I thought he was a little out of control there at the end. But maybe he had to be. They were doing some weird stuff with Jabari. We weren't really running a lot of stuff towards him. I don't know if they were just – I know they were throwing 2 guys at him whenever he got the ball. But I thought that was interesting. Typically when we needed a basket in some games, we go to him on the corner, on the wing, on the corner, him post up, square up to the basket, draw a foul, get a guy open. We didn't do that at all today, and I thought that was interesting. Maybe we tried to run some stuff, and it just wasn't there. I don't know. I have to go back and rewatch that and see kind of why we didn't do that, because typically we do. Unless there was something that you saw that I didn't.
No, I didn't understand. I didn't feel like Georgia was icing the screens to keep them outside. And I just kept thinking they were going to rotate it back, reverse it back the way Coach Sonny says, and they just didn't do it in the second half. And I didn't understand why. I don't know.
Yeah, at one point he had 5 shots, and I'm like, guys, we got to get him the ball. You got to. In those type of situations where teams are going on big runs, he's known for killing the run. He's known for being the guy that if you need a basket, he's going to get you one. He's going to get to the line. And we didn't do that today. I thought that was interesting. But, hey, look, if we do that, if we don't do that and we win, we can watch the tape, get better, move on, because we're going to need that, later on.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a weird game because of just how lackadaisical we came out in the second half. I don't know if we thought we were going to blow them out the gym. I don't know if Georgia I know they got to the line a lot in the first half, which kept it really close in terms of just how many free throws they were able to make. It probably could have been a 20-point lead at half. But I give Georgia credit for fighting back. They've been a different team since they played us at home a few weeks ago. They've gotten a lot better. That guy that they had that didn't play against us the first half, whatever his name is, he played really well. I give him a lot of credit. But look, a win's a win. A road win in the SEC is hard to come by. We're going to get tripped up here sooner or later. I'm glad it's not today.
Yeah.
Might be Tuesday, but glad it's not today.
Yeah, I think losing at Georgia will be worse than Arkansas for sure, just from an Auburn perspective. Yeah. But Arkansas is playing some really good basketball right now, Storm 20 for sure, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, they're playing. But, I think we match up well with them. Just in terms of, when the games get opened up, I think we play pretty well. And hopefully having Zep back will help. He'll be fresh. He'll be ready to go. I don't know. That's going to be – we tend to have played Arkansas pretty close the past couple of years, just with the style. We have a lot of better athletes this year. Last year we should have won there. Last year we should have been twice, actually. 2 years ago we, won there. So, maybe it's not as bad as we think it's going to be. I'm hoping that's the case because, like I said, we got some dudes. So
yeah, lots and lots of dudes.
And Jabari may come out. He'll be like, I didn't get mine last game. Let's go in there. Let's shut these guys up. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Taking a look at this Arkansas KenPom, I know you can't see that in the horn, but that's what we're looking at. They have won, 7 straight, and they're playing Mississippi State at home tonight, which Mississippi State's pretty good. Yeah. Looks like the things that stick out about Arkansas are defensive rebounding. They get to the line a lot. Their one big minus is their three-point shooting is pretty shitty, and their three-point defense has been bad too. So
I remember watching that. I know it was a long time ago. I remember watching that Oklahoma game. And Oklahoma literally was like, "You guys can shoot threes. We don't care. We'll play off of you." And that's when they routed them by 20. So I don't know if Arkansas has been tested really recently. I mean, they've kind of had a lighter schedule, I believe. So I think this is going to be a huge test for them. And I really like the matchup down low. I think that is in our favor. I know Jalen Williams, same name, is really good. But I think I'd probably give us the advantage on that. He's not a very good back-to-the-basket player. So, he tries to get to the basket with Walker. I think that's going to be a huge advantage for us. So I tend to hopefully think that we can exploit some mismatches. We can get home, get some rest. So that's a quick turnaround, and see what we can do Tuesday.
Yeah, it is a very quick turnaround. Looks like their best player is J.D. Notae.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Like shooting guard type. And looks like they got a 6'6" Umude. I don't know. Yeah, they got some players.
Who do you think is teed up first Tuesday?
KD Johnson. It's always the odds-on favorite.
Bruce or Musselman.
Oh, yeah, they're both very high energy guys, right?
And I think that place is going to be buzzing a little. There might be a call here or there because every game I've watched, he's either been teed up, close to teed up. I remember the Oklahoma game; he got tossed. I think that's going to be a feisty game. I really do.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to find. And this win today, I think, is going to help us set up to go in there with a lot of confidence, knowing, hey, if we get out front, we cannot let up because this is not Georgia. We can't. I think that today is going to help us out a lot. I really do. That's as good of a win as you can get in that situation, and not drop a loss, and learn and get scared at. Okay, we can't play like that again, and move on from it.
Man, they only have one guy shooting better than 30. Nobody really shooting better than 35%. They have like some walk-on guy like Lior, who's 6 of 15 from three this year, but their main players are like 32% from three. Yikes! It makes me think that are they going to zone it?
I don't look. We've watched a lot of Auburn basketball in our lives. I know just it's kind of changed the past couple of years. Before, it always seems like every team has their best shooting performance against Auburn. It just always seems that way. I don't know if I can back it up with statistics. Maybe I can, but there's always a feeling of no matter who we play on the road, they always have their best shooting night. Ole Miss always does. Just always seems that way. So, yeah, even though they have a huge, disadvantage shooting the three, I get to see them coming out and hitting a few, gaining some confidence. And look, maybe they'll hit a few early and then slide off, like Ole Miss did a few weeks ago. But yeah, they're not very good for the three. And I'm hoping maybe we can start off in a man and throw that little 2-3 zone, 2-3 matchup zone we do pretty well.
Interesting.
Kind of throw them off. We kind of did that against Bama, and kind of threw them off in the second half. So we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be. I'm excited about that one now.
Interesting.
I'm pumped.
All right, that game tips off at 6 on Tuesday, so we'll have a chance to talk after the game. That would be good.
Sweet. I hadn't been able to call in the past couple of nights. I had my firstborn last weekend, so I've been fighting the whole lack of sleep,
nice.
Not being able to call in late, all that good stuff. So finally getting into a routine. I figured I'd call in while I can and talk a little round ball.
Man, congratulations, bro. That's awesome for you and your wife.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been
great.
Today I looked at my son. I said, hey, you know what? We won, but this is the stresses of Auburn fandom that you're getting yourself into. So I apologize.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you calling in, bro. You're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for all you do, and we'll talk Tuesday maybe.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Bye. See you.
There he is, AU Storm 20, a new dad. That's what we love to hear, man. Things you love to hear. People coming along. Somebody said they were, who was it? Was it Cassidy Pete? Said he was going to watch the Holy Bull Stakes? Dude, I got a picture of Holy Bull on my wall right here. Love that horse. I love Holy Bull. Got sponged in the Derby. Sponged, I say. Mama Doodat, what's up, man?
JG, how we doing?
What up? I recognized you from the Twitter space yesterday.
Oh yeah. I was enjoyable. I had to drop off early, but those are always wild.
Yeah, and I got pooped on a little bit from some people in the bunker who said that I shouldn't be doing Twitter spaces. But I'm glad to have you and NWD. Both of y'all were great callers last night.
Well, thank you. No, I'm a huge proponent of diversity in content. I think that it serves everybody well, and Twitter space lends itself to an interesting back and forth dialogue that you can't really find anywhere else. So yeah, I mean, all things to all people. If you don't like it, no one's forcing you to listen. So, hey.
Who won the Indiana-Illinois game? Do you know?
Illinois, I believe, did win that game.
I was cheering against Indiana.
Purdue just beat Michigan as well.
Oh, that's nice. That's a good win.
Yeah. Illinois put the hurting on IU. 74-57 was the final in that one.
Anytime we have a chance to talk about Kofi Cockburn, that's what I like to do.
You love a little Cockburn?
I hate it, but I love it at the same time, you know.
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced Coburn, but I like your pronunciation better.
Looks like Cockburn to me, my man.
It does. You know, I wonder. Yeah, and the announcers say Coburn, but I wish it was Cockburn. That would be better. But you know, it's funny. Every time I see Tom Crean, and by the way, the worst humans that you can find. Tom Crean, no love in the state of Indiana for that guy. And I have stories. I have an acquaintance that was a student manager for him when he was at IU, and just said, I mean, never heard this phrase before, but a toxic work environment. That Tom Crean was over there at IU. Would make student assistants show up for practice after he'd canceled it, but wouldn't tell them on purpose, so they had to be there. And then would be like, "What are you guys doing? Go home." Just to mess with him. He's just a jerk. So I love seeing him lose.
Yeah, I do too. And I also got bitched at by I got made fun of by Bob Knight too. I'm that old. That's how old I am. I just want to tell you the story real quick because you're from up in Indiana. But
Yeah.
When I was a young reporter, I would talk about shots from the field, which is something that Andy does on the radio too. You know, because it's a field goal, right? And I told him that, and he goes,
"From the field,
yeah." You say you guys didn't shoot very well from the field, and Bob Knight, I was a student at the time. He goes, "What the fuck is he talking about? A field? There's no fucking field, young man. It's a court. It's a floor. So change your question." And I was like, "Sorry, sir. Your shot's from the floor." And so for the rest of my life, I've referred to it as shooting from the floor. And I hate it when people talk about the field. And Andy does it every dang night. So I wish Bobby Knight would cuss his ass too. Fuckers.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, I just thought I'd tell you
Something
that.
tells me that, Andy, that'd be a funny exchange, actually, hearing Andy get cussed out. But it'd be entertaining. But no, well, and so, yeah, my this season, I was able to. We would always go back down to the Montgomery area around the holidays, and so we would always see a basketball game when we were back. As long as the team was in town, usually we get to go. So, buddy, I saw some rough games with some bad teams, the sparse crowds, the students off campus. I was actually you would know what year this was. It was an NIT game against Miami.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It was at Beardy's.
05, maybe, something like that?
Could have been. Kyle Davis had a block party that night, that blocked a bunch of shots. It was a legit great atmosphere. It was a nearly a sellout crowd at Beardy's for that NIT game where they hosted. That was a lot of fun. But that was the last most exciting atmosphere I can remember at an Auburn basketball home game. And I haven't been able to be back to Auburn Arena since we've been good. So
yeah, you're a long way off.
It's been fun to see them. It's been really fun to see this team grow and the talent that's been there. Yeah, it's been truly fun to see, and interestingly enough, a welcome distraction from everything else that's going on.
Yeah, it's been perfect, right? It's been a great year to have a great basketball team, right?
Man, but yeah, can you imagine if the shout out to earlier, the Rasheem Barrett era was going on right now? Oh boy, there's enough of a spotlight on the football stuff, obviously, as well. There should be. But yeah, this has been a welcome distraction, at least for the fans.
Yes, sir. And I know you're fired up, man. I know you like basketball, and you've grown up around the game, and you respect it. So it's awesome. I'm glad you're a chance to be up in Indiana and talk some shit at those people, right? Because you've got a legit team at this point.
Exactly. No, it's been fun. Yeah, definitely. People have sort of, man, where'd this team come from? And yeah, and just see Jabari, somebody of his caliber of a basketball player in Auburn uniform, is special. He's a special talent. Everybody, please enjoy him, because yeah, I hope we get another one like that soon. But he feels like a generational college talent to me.
He's just good at everything, man. He's really, really good.
Yeah, his mid-range game is just silky smooth. It's fun to watch. But yeah, listen, I won't delve too deep into the football stuff. I think we covered it aplenty last night. But wake-up call for the powers that be. Do what you got to do this time. But fan base is sick of this cycle. Find somebody that you can trust. Give them the ability to run their program and, let it ride.
Yeah, they've been saying that for a while now. And you're right. This next hire has got to be a hit, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever it is, whenever it is.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's funny. I've been reading the comments, and the War Report said some interesting things. I appreciate his perspective on it all. But I think what they're at, what guys want from a coach is empathy. And it doesn't sound like you don't have to come from a particular background to be able to empathize with the background and lived experience of somebody else. And yeah, there's too many red flags, despite what's true or not, to let this linger too much longer. Yeah. So it just seems to me that it's just a matter of what the negotiations turn out to be, right? How much of the buyout Auburn has to pay at this point? Is that what it feels like?
Well, I mean, Harsin says he's not going to back down. I don't blame him. If I was in his position, I wouldn't either. So I think it's going to take some time. And, I mean, their goal is to get away with zero payout. His goal is let me coach and don't do that. And I imagine the truth is going to be somewhere between those two,
Yeah. No, and yeah, I mean, of course, he's got to fight it. I mean, at this point, I honestly don't know what kind of a job he would get if with the, like we were talking about yesterday, with the stuff that's swirling around right now. So he's got nothing to lose. I just don't think at this point standpoint, knowing who he is, he doesn't seem like the guy that's going to say, you know what, hey, I didn't, I realize I need to understand how to compete in the SEC, and, I don't understand recruiting. Help me relate to state, high school football coaches in the state. He just doesn't seem like he's that guy. Like I said earlier, you can't remake Auburn football in the image of the Mountain West. It's just not gonna work.
I know. Not recruiting wise, it's not.
No.
All right, brother.
Well, hey Jay, I appreciate it. Good to see Auburn squeak out the win. I think it's sort of like playing South Carolina. Tough game, except for that we won. So win's a win, especially in a tough conference grind. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to the Arkansas game.
Yes, sir. It's going to be we got 6 o'clock. You're in God's time, right? Yeah, you guys are Central, right?
Oh, I'm actually Eastern.
You're just
right on the cusp.
Yeah, you're right over the line, aren't you? All right, so that'll be 7 o'clock your time then.
It's west, and I'm in God's time, but yeah, we're just over the line.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you or see you Tuesday night then, because it's going to be a big one.
Yep, looking forward to it, Jay. Thanks again.
All right, brother. See you. There he is, Mama Do That. Sammy, my man Sammy, and Casa DP are going to be watching this Holy Bull Stakes from Gulfstream. I went ahead and pulled it up here on the TVG. Love me some horse racing. By the way, Giant Game is my pick in this one. Yeah, we're here live on the we're on the TVG cast here at auburnsports.com. We were talking about Vaught earlier, man. R.I.P. to Vaught for sure, who passed away trying to save somebody in a riptide out off the Florida coast. And a good dude. I believe he may have been Auburn's first McDonald's All-American, I think, out of Western Georgia. We've got another one of our basketball gurus on the line. Auburn alumni in the house. What's up, bro?
What's happening, JG?
Sorry I couldn't get your call earlier. I had some other people on the line at the time, brother. You know I'd never put you off.
No, I completely understand. I do not take it personal at all. So,
where are you at in a general sense? I've asked you this before, but I forgot.
I'm up here in Cumming, northeast Atlanta.
Ah, got you.
That's where I reside. Yeah.
So this was an important game for you then, wasn't it?
Dude, let me tell you something. So I grew up in Birmingham, and obviously Iron Bowl was always number one for me. And when I went to Auburn, several of my buddies, obviously a lot of Georgia guys, and they all had an insane disdain for Georgia. And I didn't really get that until I moved over here and I met my wife. Actually, met my wife at the Auburn-Georgia game. She's a dog, and moved here in 2014. And since then, I absolutely understand what they were feeling when in regards to the Dogs. So I have the same hatred towards them as I do Alabama now. As a matter of fact, it's pretty bad when I'm watching the national championship game and I'm literally rooting for Alabama to find a way to come back at the end because I don't want Georgia to get that natty. So
is this a gulf between you and your wife in a way? I mean, is she like an annoying dog?
No, actually, what's funny is she doesn't really care about sports except when it's an Auburn-Georgia game, and that is the only time that she cares so that she can give me hell. So I don't even think she watched the national championship game. She didn't even realize they were playing. But she knows when Auburn and Georgia are playing in any sport, and then she'll proceed to send me pictures, tweets, anything she can regarding dog stuff. So, yeah.
I love it, man. That's a part-time fan.
Oh, yeah, but I've already won the child. So we have a 6-year-old son, and he already has got it down pat that he likes Auburn and does not like Georgia. So
good.
That battle's already won.
That's a win right there.
Yeah, so I was super glad to see Wendell pull it out at the end there because that wouldn't have been fun going into the office against, with the Dog fans there. But, yeah, man, I mean, we scraped by. Second straight road game that's coming down to the wire against really some pretty bad teams. But, this is the aspect Bruce brought it up. And, we are the hunted now more than ever because you got that number one next to your name. So, not to sound like those Wildcat fans, but we got to get used to every time we go anywhere now, we're the number one team in the land. They're going to want to knock us off. But, I will say, let me clarify what I said earlier in the chat. I'm nitpicking. I just feel like today when obviously he didn't have Zepp, and then when KD looked like he had hurt his wrist, luckily he came right back in. suddenly you're down to just Wendell, and there's no real true ball handler we have outside of him. I just feel like if we had like a fourth real guard, combo guard, like if you'd put a Trey Donaldson or a Westry on this team, I think it'd be absolutely just perfect.
Or
but I'm
Desi Sills,
yeah.
maybe? Would he be good enough?
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, if we had gotten Desi, we wouldn't have gotten KD. Am I correct there?
Who knows, man? You don't tell Bruce no.
Yeah. Right, but it would have been great to have like a quartet of true guards. I mean, I know we can run Flanagan every once in a while, but those aren't really guys you want, especially in his current state. He's just not the same Flanny as he was before. So that's what I was talking about. But regardless, hopefully we get Zep back Tuesday night, because you've already mentioned it and I've said it. I think that's the one. If we're going to get clipped, I think it's going to be Tuesday. So.
Yeah, that's a game, man. I know that you're one of the folks that has respected this game for a long, long time, because I think other people are like, oh, they're winning everything. Nobody matters. Dude, at Arkansas matters. I promise you.
Yes. And that place, when they're on, that place is electric. And not only that, but I've said it on the boards too. I think Musselman is an elite coach. I think he's right there with Bruce. I know they're not what they were last year this year, but they've won, 5, 6, 7 in a row now. So he's a damn good coach. They're going to be hyped up again, number one team in the country. And, to use the Calipari excuse, we just left the game on the road. We got to turn around on Tuesday and play another game on the road. So, it is, it's going to be a tough one. So we absolutely can't have the performances we had the last two games. That we'll probably get run out the gym, in my opinion, if that happens.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to me, and you can see if you're seeing the same thing, but obviously it feels like every game we have about a 5 to 8 minute stretch where we just get really careless and sloppy. We try a lot of highlight reel stuff that we're not really running set plays, and it feels like we've done this pretty regularly now, where we'll have a 8 to 10 to bigger lead, and then we just kind of falter for about 5 or 8 minutes. We really can't afford any of that Tuesday, in my opinion.
Not at Arkansas, and BP's going to let them know it. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it was great. I said it though too that I really wish that Jabari was a little bit more of a ball hog, and I know we got to run plays and get him the shots, but there were a few times, like I know that there was one in particular, even the announcer noticed it, where Wendell. Jabari passed it out to Wendell, and Wendell takes a long three when he really should have just passed it right back to Jabari, and Jabari had a pretty good high percentage shot there. But I forget, it was like 7 or 8 minute mark or something like that, and Jabari had like one field goal attempt in the second half, and we're not going to win many games in that regard. I know we got a really talented team, but he's the dude, and I want him to become the dude, kind of what Chuma did, from that SEC tournament on. His last year, I'd like to see that from Jabari.
Yeah. Really. Canoe Man reminds us that Trey Alexander willfully walked away from a chance to play on this team.
Yep, and even he, that would have been a really nice addition. I know that we cracked on him from not wanting any piece of this, but yeah, to me, it's just that one extra guard in this group would just be just over the moon. And obviously, we talked about the 3 spot. I can't hate on Cambridge because he's playing like a warrior in every aspect but his shooting. He'll have a turnover or whatever, but at the same time, he makes highlight reel dunks, and he's been rebounding and working his ass off on defense. Flanagan just needs more time. We know what he's capable of doing, but, he's just not there yet. But all that being said, again, we're 21-1. It's really hard to find any flaws and be upset when we're not at our absolute best when you've won that many games. And
yeah.
People are gunning for you. So
Hard to fuss.
Yeah. So anyway, other than that, man, trying my hardest not to dwell on the football stuff. My biggest thing in that regard is I just wish, to me, it feels like Auburn is like that. It's that awkward moment where you're like in a public place and the couple's like yelling at each other, and that feels like what we are. Like, I wish that this stuff wasn't happening in full display of, because no matter which side you're on, and I don't know what's going on inside, either way, but no matter what happens, it's bad for the program. It's bad either way because you've had so much of this toxicity coming out and the he said, she said. And I just wish all this stuff was behind closed doors, but that's not how we roll on the plains. So,
Yeah.
The thing that set me off, and you probably saw it yesterday, was seeing your latest update. The thing that actually put me over the edge, though, Jay, was when you said that what I already suspected, that, people were all like, oh, well, if they're doing this now, obviously they got a plan. And you said flat out in there, looks like there's same old. Looks like that there's different groups that have a different plan. And if that's the case, then that's just peak Java right there.
Well, that is peak Java. But I will say this: I think the NIL organization and consolidation has gotten these people more on the same page than they've been in a while.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we've got a shot here. I don't know what's going to happen with Harsin. I think that's just too toxic to continue one way or another. And so I'm kind of talking about this as if he's going to go. But if he does go, we've got a shot there for the powers that be on the same page, more so than usual. Because usually there's like 5 different ideas about what needs to happen and everything gets fucked up. But I think there's a chance that they could be on the same page. I do. And that would be best for Auburn.
But and I know you can't talk about everything that you know, but I mean, just reading the tea leaves, and I think it's pretty safe to say that, if it were to happen and he's gone, it feels like it's a freeze or steal type of a deal from what the tea leaves seem to read. And if you whiff on freeze and you end up with Kevin Steele back here, this is my biggest fear. You're already past the late signing day. Let's say you get rid of Harsin, and it could be for right or wrong, but let's say that Harsin's gone. Every single kid, and people are talking about, well, he can get by late, but we got 17 really good football players in that signing class that would all have free reign to go wherever else they wanted to go. So my big concern is, I know there's a lot of players that aren't happy with Harsin, but there's also the Derek Halls and the Shankers and those guys that are coming as defense. So if we get rid of Harsin, and let's say that, a large chunk of that signing class doesn't stay on, and then you have another, say, 7, 8, 9 or more guys leave, now you've got a situation where you potentially could have, obviously, a coaching change, but at the same time, you don't have another high school signing day until next year. So unless you just go full hog Banshee on the transfer portal, you could have a real numbers issue, not just looking for quality players, but just players in general going into the fall. That's my concern. I understand nobody's happy with how recruiting ended. I understand people are concerned about relationships, right or wrong. But my issue is if you're going to make this move and this happens and he's gone, worst case scenario, you could put yourself almost in a probation level as far as roster numbers, unless you go land 25 guys in the portal in the summertime. At least that's what it feels like. I mean, am I right here, or do you feel differently?
Yeah, they would definitely be in a numbers crunch, particularly 2 years from now. I think the 22 team is probably going to be pretty well staffed, but after that, you got a lot of trouble. You got a lot of work to make up, and so that would not be ideal.
Yeah. So anyway, well, I mean, like I said, I'm hating the fact this is all super public. It's nasty. Like you said, I made a post a few days ago. It doesn't matter now. You can't really move forward with Harsin because you've neutered his recruiting ability. I mean, this is already being utilized by our rivals, obviously, and I don't know many people are going to walk into that, including coaching. I mean, I don't know how many coaches want to walk in that situation as an assistant or a coordinator, but either way, it's put us in a rock and a hard place. So thank God for Bruce. Actually, not just gymnastics. I mean, everything else seems to be kicking butt right now, but we're going to do what we do when it comes to football. And if nothing else, we're not boring for sure.
That's for sure. That's for sure. It's never boring.
Anyway, I'll get off here, man. I mean, good game. I am worried to death about Tuesday. I'm praying that Zepp's going to be available. Is there any word on Lior? Like, what's up with Lior? It's been a while now.
It's going to be a little bit of time, a little bit more time. I think he'll play again this season, but it's going to be a little while longer. He's got a lower body problem.
But if we get out of Fayetteville, I'll be feeling over the moon because I really do believe that's the one. If we're going to get clipped, it's going to be Tuesday. So hopefully not. But keep up the good work, JG. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate you calling in, brother.
All right, man.
See you, man. Looks like I missed on Giant game in the Holy Bull Stakes. Whiteabario wins this bad boy easily. I would never, ever have bet on Whiteabario as a gray on dirt. I never bet on grays on dirt. Sammy's going to make fun of me for that. Sammy. Sorry, bro. Anyway, so glad horse racing's back in the fray. I'm going to go ahead and turn that bad boy off. I think JM was surprised to hear about Freeze. Yet Hugh Freeze guy says Hugh will give us as many bubble screens as we could ever want. It will be gloriously frustrating. I love that we got Hugh Freeze guy on the stream, man. It's just that's just perfect. Bob says at 64 years of age, I'm growing weary of the BS by the PTB at my beloved university. Yeah, I guess. War Eagle 00008. That's too many zeros. 0008. Man, Kobe Brown is a stud. Would love to see him come to AU via the portal. Young man from the greater Huntsville area who plays at University of Missouri. Would be terrific. I was also looking up while Auburn alumni was on the horn. We love having him call for sure. I was looking at Trey Alexander. He actually is playing a bunch for Creighton now. He starts for them, and he's like their number one shooting guard now, although, to be fair, he's more of a shooting guard than he is a making guard at this point in his career. I just thought we could bounce over here for shits and giggles and take a look at his numbers. He is somebody that, again, he was part of Auburn's – he had committed to Auburn. He might have signed with Auburn now I think about it. I think he did sign with Auburn out of Oklahoma City. I think he played at Cassidy maybe? Or Heritage Hall. I think it was Heritage Hall. And early in the season, he didn't play a whole lot, but now he's like their starting two. And, 25% three-point shooter, 19% in conference play from the two is not going to get it done. And it doesn't look like they asked him to do a lot of ball handling at all. So I don't know. I mean, not that Auburn alumni wasn't like making some big statement about Trey Alexander. I just thought it was interesting. Actually, Canoeman is the one that brought it up. Because Auburn alumni was saying, hey, wouldn't it be sweet if we had a fourth, semi-legitimate ball handler? And Trey Alexander probably was the most likely person to be that player until he flaked out and was mad because they wouldn't guarantee him a starting spot. And then he left. Thought he was going to go to Oklahoma. He ended up at Creighton. And you guys are thinking, Creighton, who gives a shit? I mean, they're good. They're a good program. Omaha, Nebraska. And they had a great recruiting class this year. So he's part of a great class at Creighton, and I expect him to be pretty good in the Big East for a while. I mean, they've been good. They just haven't been great since Dougie McBuckets was there. Some of you guys are fussing about being G-Pits fans and like kind of giving me a rest in peace for the G-Pits. Dude, we just did a show like on Monday, I think. We did miss one there. I had one where I got sick, and then I had one where I got a bunch of mom drama. My mom's kind of up there in age a little bit, and I had to get involved with her a little bit. She's doing a little bit better, though. Corey Dubb says Tevin Brown as well could use his outside shot. Tevin Brown, of course, from Murray State, a young man who has been very pro-Auburn. Well, he loves the Auburn Twitter mafia. We can definitely say that with full comfort. Tevin Brown, of course, plays every game at Murray State. They're a good team. They're a good mid-major team. He's a 40% shooter from three, 49% shooter from two, 80% from the line. Yeah, he's good, man. He's a good player. My thought was that he was going to go pro. Young man from Fairhope, Alabama. This is his fourth season at Murray State, but he would have one more year due to being a super senior due to COVID. And it sure would be lovely to have someone like that on the team, huh? Tevin Brown. Murray State Racers are 21-2, by the way, have lost only 2 games. Their last loss was to the Auburn Tigers on December 22. They have since reeled off about 12 straight. And they have a 97% chance of winning tonight against SIU Edwardsville. According to Ken Palm, and their closest game from this point forward will be either at Moorhead or at Belmont. I think it's going to be Belmont. Anyway, we're just kind of babbling here about things that could happen in the future. The thing about Auburn's roster, though, Jabari's going to be gone. I think that Walker is on the precipice. I don't know. He's the kind of player that, for me in the NBA, it's going to have to be like the right team. And you're thinking to yourself, geez, Louise, JG, he might be the National Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, he's awesome, man. At 7'1", he's incredibly gifted. There was a time today where the two guard was trying to drive on Walker. They had gotten a switch, the exact switch that Georgia wanted, and then he defended it. The guy had to kick the ball out. It's like, geez, Louise. So he's a really good center, possibly the best center in the country behind Coburn, as Mama Dudat pointed out earlier, Kofi Coburn. I just don't know about his NBA appeal. That's the thing. I mean, 17% shooter from three. You're saying, JG, dude, he's 7'1". I know, but the NBA is all about shooting at this point. And he's not an outside shooter. So I don't know. But anyway, we know Jabari's gone. And if Walker stays, shoo, they're not going to need much. They're going to take Trey Donaldson. They're going to take Chris Westry. Chance Westry, and they are going to pretty much hold firm, JM, one of our friends from the Rebel Groves, saying Ole Miss and UF tied under a minute. That sounds like a terrific game. I would definitely be pulling for the Rebs in that one. LT Gray says, I dated one from Belmont, too. A real nag. I haven't heard that in a minute, man. I love the idea of you dating a nag. I want to try to pull on this Ole Miss game real quick. A nag. I thought when you told me you dated a chick from Belmont, I was like, dude, awesome. That sounds like a home run to me, because they're obviously going to have a lot of money. It's on the SEC network here. We got tied at 48. Jeez, somebody score a bucket, for God's sake. 30 seconds to go. I would imagine that's Ole Miss with the ball there, because I don't think the Florida Gators would have red on. Oh, man, this is tight. Wow, this is exciting. Got about 8 seconds on the shot clock here. Ole Miss has not really gotten in position to get a good shot at all. They take a fall-away mid-ranger from about 18 and airball it. Florida's got about 3 seconds, and he fell down. And this game is going to overtime. Bob says he dated two from Belmont. I hope that wasn't at the same time. They were both overachievers. All right, very good. Hey, now. Canoe Man says he wants Olivia Dunn to be added to the girls we would poke, as Hornatius calls them. Anyway, everybody's like, Trey Alexander, why the hell does he have that up there? I don't know. It worked with the conversation we were having earlier. I don't know. All right, so what else we got here? War Eagle 0008 says, damn, Bob, I disagree with JG. I hope it was the same time. What? Hold on, I got to read this one. So I had to get that one. I had to get that one for sure. That one was one of the people that I When that text comes through, I always stop everything I'm doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Oh, and I just did that Humpty Dance as Patrick D drops a super chat, my man who did the Humpty Dance. Well, he didn't actually do the Humpty Dance. He was spinning the Humpty Dance as part of his DJ set at his party the other day at the AU Draft House. The guy was absolutely legend. We've been talking about him. Talked about the show. Talked about it on the last show, like, so much. The guy with two names says, "Oh, it's bad news." No, that definitely wasn't bad news at all. That was neutral. It was neutral. Man, Patrick D, having a chance to finally see that guy DJing, and he knows what he's doing, you know what I mean? Not that I would ever question him, but I was kind of like, dude, he's about my age. I mean, does he really know how to DJ? And he shows up with, like, it's pretty obvious. The instant that I saw his setup, I was like, oh, shit, that guy really does know what he's doing. You really are Brock Landers. And he spun it for sure. Although, Patrick D, I think the other dude that was DJing with you, I think when he was laughing his ass off at the fact that I knew every word of the Humpty Dance, he thought that was pretty funny. I'm sure I look like just some old guy to him. He doesn't know me. Anyway, I appreciate you, bro. You're always so incredibly supportive. And also, man, just basically had you had the open tab for everyone there that night. It was crazy. Everybody was losing their mind. Like, can you believe this guy? I was like, yes, I can. War Eagle 0008 says, Jay, any guess at the timeline of this Harsin thing? Great question. I have said weeks. He ain't going to quit. He doesn't have any reason to quit. The only time, if I see him quit, or if you see him quit, if we all see him quit, then they've got him somehow. You know what I mean? They've got some kind of irrefutable evidence. Like if I get accused of stealing marbles, and I say, I didn't do that. And then they said, well, I've got you on closed-circuit TV stealing it. And then it's me, grabbing marbles. And you say, fucking, I'm out. Like, I don't think they got that. So he ain't going to do it. And this is going to be adjudicated, so to speak, over the course of, I think it's going to be a couple weeks. I don't understand what this means. Pikachu says, hey, Jay, are you sure your team is not against the Packers? I don't understand what that means. Everybody knows my team is the Raiders, and they are what they are. They're perfectly mediocre. Although everybody's trying to pretend on Reddit that Josh McDaniels is going to be the one to save us. We shall see. He surely didn't save the Broncos when he was there about, 12 years ago. I wish the whole bunker could have been there. We had a chance to meet a bunch of folks there. Midnight Tulips was there. Awesome Lady was there. We had a chance to see You Got Gust, who's an absolute legend too. I mean, why not they use great? But if he's up on stage and he doesn't have You Got Gust down there on the floor doing his thing, I don't know. I don't know if it's as fun. Don't take that the wrong way, Patrick D. Patrick D's crew was there. The guys who have known him, I guess, going way back to when they were kids, and those guys were all legends in their own right. He had some really, really good, smart Auburn people with him, and which is what you would expect, of course. Pikachu says, what I mean by that is Georgia's logo is the same as the Packers. Yeah, that I've always kind of found that odd. And then there's a team in my area called the Edgewood Academy, and they have an upside-down G, which kind of looks like, if you really want to get creative, it looks like a lowercase e. And I always found that kind of odd. Are you sure your team is not against the Packers? I don't know, man. I don't know. That was kind of interesting. Get back here. There we go. So Patrick D's super chat says, we won. Yes, we won. That's all it takes, man. Keep winning, man. As Cliff Ellis says, you just win, baby. You just win, baby. War Eagle 0008 says, your thoughts on Steele as a head coach? Just have a gut feeling this is where we're headed. I mean, gosh, it's been so long since he's been a head coach. What is it, 91, I think? I'm a big believer in and at least, not necessarily with Auburn, I'm just saying any team, I like the idea of what I would call a false nine. In soccer, a false nine is where your striker, instead of being the front guy on the attack, kind of plays behind the wingers, and so he's more of an administrator. And so I call this concept more of a false nine concept, where you hire a head coach who's not necessarily a number one badass, who has some skill or ability, and then he ends up kind of being like you hire great coordinators to kind of be the real workers. Do you know what I mean? This is what Arkansas did, and has had some success with that, with Sam Pittman being kind of he's the head coach, but he's not a superstar coach per se. And then they've got Kendall Briles, who's since moved on, and then Odom, who's a terrific defensive coordinator. So if you want it to be Kevin Steele and you're actually going to pay up $1.5 million to hire 2 coordinators, each at $1.5 million, and you're going to get great coordinators, I don't know who you think it might be. I mean, if it's somebody like Jeff Grimes or somebody like Kendall Briles, someone who I think really is on the front end of offensive coordination, and somebody who's really on the front edge of a defensive coordination, you got really good coordinators. Fuck, I don't know why that wouldn't work. But I think you'd have to do that. You'd have to commit to that. You have to pay Kevin whatever, and you have to pay the coordinators really, really well. I think it's okay. I'm open to that idea. I thought I saw something on here. Somebody was posting something about elitist. This interests me. I'm very interested in this. It's Pocket Watch. It says elitists do things like that. I just don't think these people would be considered elitist in any definition of the word. A canoe man. Yeah, it's kind of tricky, isn't it? Bob Williams says, say no to Steele. He's not a fan. And then Pipe Layer Nick says, it is request. I don't know what that means, but I'm all on board, whatever it is. CDF jumps in, my main man, Duff Diver, who's been at a birthday party today, one he's very fired up about, I'm sure. Says, need some love for Papa Zepp. We're going to give him a clap. Not because Zepp had a great day today, but I was texting with Duff Diver earlier during the game about how Duff Diver's been a huge, huge, huge fan of Zepp all year long, loves what Zepp brings, and then when Zepp's gone, he's kind of like, I told you guys. I'm not me specifically, but he was just like, we are learning today how valuable Zepp is and how right Duff Diver was, among others. And so there you go. That's what he wants. He wants you guys to affirm his love for Zepp, and I'm sure you guys will do that. Let's see. War Eagle 0008 says, I think Steele ran a great, not good side of the ball. We would have been bad had it not been for our defense for the last 5 years of Gus's tenure. Good point. Good point. B. Parham says, I stand by my coach. In my opinion, reasonable stance. We don't know exactly. Somebody was pointing this out. I think War Report, Mike G, had mentioned that he appreciated the fact that I haven't been hot taken, and I've been kind of waiting to know what we're dealing with. And guys, I've really tried. I know I get accused a little bit here and there. People saying that I promulgate this smut stuff, and I haven't. That stuff makes me sick. I permabanded 3 people over the stuff involving the personal assistant because there's just absolutely no truth. I don't know if they think there's truth, but we don't know anything about that. And we're not going to drag someone's reputation through the mud. And that includes Harsin. I've been very careful with that. Pipe Layer Nick says, is it request hour yet? I'd like to hear some Humpty. Well, you should have been at the party the other night because my main man, Why Not AU, was playing it. He was spinning it. He had it on wax, and I was singing it, bro. Will it ever stop, yo? I don't know. I need to get one of those schnozzes, though, right? Because that's what Humpty Hump always had. All right, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. I look funny. But yo, I'm making money, see? So yo, world to help you ready for me, and to gather round. I'm the new fool in town. And my sound's laid down by the underground. I see the bottle Hennessy you got on your shelf, so just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty. I'm telling you, it sounds pretty good. I don't care if you don't like it. War Eagle 0008 says, I just don't think the booster would literally fabricate the hearts and stuff. They might exaggerate it to get their way. But if you make it up and get caught, we won't hire a great coach ever again. I know more than I've been able to talk about. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And I just don't know how I feel about it, man. I've not heard anything or seen anything where I said that guy's busted. I haven't. Now I have not privy to everything though. I'm not privy to everything. I'm just saying I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that. So I think it would be stupid for me for what I do, from where I am, to start pontificating about, well, it looks like he's a had lad. And if I sit here and tell you I don't think he's going to make it, it ain't because I necessarily think he's done something wrong. I just think that the situation's gotten so toxic from a recruiting perspective. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that Instagram Live the other day was brutal, and I guarantee you it ain't something you guys might just be hearing it and let it go, but that's going to come up again. The people out there who negatively recruit against Auburn, oh my gosh, that's going to be number one right there. They're going to say, listen to these former players say that he doesn't understand how inner city kids operate and what's important to them. And oh, God, it sucks. I think Ole Miss is in trouble here, guys. Florida just hit a 3 to go up 59-50 with less than a minute to go. And I would have much preferred to see Ole Miss win this game. They just hit a 3, though. That was nice. Anyway. I'm sitting here kind of thinking about this for a minute. Jeez. It's a tricky situation. I just wonder. I just don't see how he's going to get out of it. I don't see how he would get out of it. I just think it's just going to be. I mean, recruiting was already an absolute struggle. You know what I mean? And now it's going to be even harder. And I just feel like recruiting momentum at this point is essentially zero. And I just don't, man. I just feel like it's going to be tough, man. But as I've said many times, the guy's a worker. I mean, 100%. And it's not fair, I don't think, for people to be kind of mocking him and saying, he's in Mexico, he doesn't give a shit. Like, it's a dead period in recruiting. He can sit at home and be pissed that they got 0 players on National Signing Day, but he can't call anybody. He can't go anywhere and fix it. I mean, and there's a lot of coaches, believe me. There's a lot of coaches through the country that are out taking a vacation right now, which is fair. They've been busting their ass 80 hours a week since, July 4th or whenever they came back, July 10th or whatever. And whether that goes for Clemson or Alabama or Georgia or Florida or wherever, or Slippery Rock, the coaches deserve some time off. And honestly, if you're going to take it, this would be a good time. Now, they do have the offensive coordinator search going, but you can do that from Mexico. And plus, he's got LaRondo, who's been a terrific conciliary. We're helping him with that. I mean, jeez. Reynolds wants to know if I could do the Humpty Dance to Jay Jacobs. Oh, my word. Now, that's tricky. It's kind of similar in a way, though. Hey, brother. All right, stop what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin. He does a lot of uhs, too. Stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. It'd have to be the wrong enunciation, too. I once got busy in a Burger King bathroom. That's about the best I can do, man. Hey, Taxman says, I can't really understand what TPWM are trying to accomplish from a long-term perspective. That's a great question, and it's a question I don't think I've ever seen this before. What are they trying to accomplish from a long-term perspective? Not short-term, but long-term. That's a good question. I feel like I missed some super chats earlier. I know I missed one from Chip the other day, which is disgusting. I should never do that. I feel like when folks are on the phone, I miss them or whatever. I know I missed this one while Auburn alumni was on the horn, but Hornatius, a.k.a. Love the Cats, is advocating for us to go to 1 a.m. Thank you for your support, as always. And Hornatius, you guys don't know this, but Hornatius is an absolute stud. Off the board, off the show. He's a very, as odd as he is, and he is a very odd cat, and he's also a beta, but he's a very, very good dude, and he has been there many, many times for people who have needed him Not necessarily him, but who have needed somebody. Bunker people. He really, really gives a shit, and he's going to heaven for this stuff. Stu Pup did super chat for a second time during one of the calls earlier. He says Assassin does a great job with his Twitter Spaces. Yeah, Cristiano, he's the one that we just kind of say, hey, man, you think maybe we ought to do a Twitter Space one of these days? And he'll be like, yeah, man. And then he runs it because somebody's got to run it, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. When we were on the show yesterday, I think our maximum crowd group was like 1350, so we had a lot of people on there. And he was kind of working that way. Canoe Man, in that vein, said, do not listen to these people, Commodore. Cannot please everyone. And, yeah, whatever. I see what you're saying. There's a lot of different ways to kind of reach people. And so we did a Twitter Space last night, and some people were upset. And, well, wasn't necessarily some people, it was some person. And saying it's not fair that he's paying us to provide content, and then we do it for free on Twitter. Which, if we did that a lot, I would listen, man. I'm number one on that. But I mean, I post a ton. You guys know that. We do brain drains. We do podcasts. I feel like we're here for you guys a ton. I try to be. I mean, I feel like I serve you guys, and gals. But I mean, if we do one Twitter Space a month, just as kind of like outreach in a way, I don't feel like that's unfair. I don't know. That's just one take. Pocket Wedge says TPTP, don't think long term. I think you're right. I think that's part of the problem. Let's see, Ryan S., our man from the greater Nashville area. Look at this, Ole Miss trying to fight back in this game. Just had a and one. They're still down 4 with 14 seconds to go, so it's not looking good. But AWS gives Florida a 97% chance of winning, but there's still 3% chance left. He says Harsin is to Mexico what Tubbs is to a duck blind. By the way, grand bagged a deer. Corey Dubb in the house. Oh, man, I'm sorry, a little bit behind on this. Corey super chatted like 5 minutes ago. I hope he's still on. I guarantee he's still on. He better be. He says Virginia double dribbled. This is the super chat.
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad.
That's what Corey Dubb wants to say to the coach at Virginia, whose name escapes me, for Bennett. He wants to wrestle him and punch him in the balls and make him pay. War Eagle 0008 says, any update on ADAG? What's he doing in this whole situation? Well, so Dr. Goose was saying yesterday that they're going to kind of get a hold of these rumors and try to discern fact from fiction. Alan Green is very much involved in that process, and it's tricky. It's a very polarizing situation, as you can imagine, inside the complex, and so he's going to be working on that probably almost around the clock for a period of time here, and he's got a lot of other shit on his plate to deal with too. Sam H says he's out. Thanks for all you do, Sam H. What a legend. We'll see you on the bunker or the Twitter Space. No judgment. There was something earlier. Unfortunately, we were doing something else, and so I wasn't able to talk about that. But apparently somebody who was at the Senior Bowl, whose name I didn't recognize, had said that the talk around the Senior Bowl was that Harsin was going to get fired this week. Like, what? Joey D says Harsin was at the Senior Bowl earlier this week. NFL people don't stay for the game, besides the coaches for the teams. That's probably... you're probably dovetailing off somebody saying that earlier, right? But yeah, it was kind of like, well, the talk here is that he's going to get fired next week. And like, well, I mean, the talk everywhere is he was going to get fired yesterday, but it hadn't happened. Russell S. says, I wish Harsin would punch TPTB right in the Dr. Goose. The horticulturalist in chief. Hits the ground listening. I'm telling you that, right? Bourbon Bowl says sad because JGT missed my super chat. No, did I really? God dang it. I can't go back and find it now, but I went way back and tried to find it, Bourbon Bowl. Hell, I'll do it, man. I'll try to go back in here and find it. I cannot believe I missed it, and I'm sorry, bro. I don't deserve you. I have never deserved you, and we're just lucky to have you here hanging out with us, brother. Man, I missed some good stuff coming through from D Lucky too. This makes me sick to my stomach. I hope he's not gone. I'm going all the way back to when we were talking about Holy Bull. That was like 45 minutes ago. Dadgummit. Yeah, I missed a super chat from Sam H. I had it up on the screen, but I didn't have a chance to call it out. He did say also this season of basketball isn't going to be like any football season 10 or 13. This is going to be a consistent product of Auburn from now on, saying this is not going to be, a blip. This is going to be the level that it's going to be at. I like that. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to go ahead and read this one out from the War Report from Mike G. It says, read JG's breakdown on everything that's going on, and I thought it was well articulated. Thank you, sir. Beware of anyone claiming to know all the facts here. JG shares the things that are best to share. Wait and see. Thank you for that. I still don't see it, Bourbon Bowl, man. I'm sorry, brother. I feel really bad about that because if I'm not 100% on those, I don't know what else I can do. I got to be 100% on that. Dadgummit. I just don't see it, brother. I'm sorry, man. Anyway, you guys know how I feel about Bourbon Bowl, and you guys feel the same way. The guy's a legend. I mean, there's no question about it. We don't even need like a second on that. We just know it straight up. Love the Cat says, talk about current Auburn football in Gus' voice. Well, I mean, it's tough out there, and the SEC's pretty tough, and you got to go out there and you got to compete every day, and that goes for recruiting, and yeah, I mean, he's a guy that it's tough out there. He always say he's a guy that's tough out there, and you got to know what you're looking for, and you got to know who you are, but at the same time you got to kind of know who they are, and yeah, I mean, you just got to know. It's pretty good. It's pretty hard. Got some really good news the other day with Christy Malzahn getting out of the hospital. It's not over yet. She's still having some difficulty from this infection that had gotten her so good. But hopefully, man, someday, like a month or two from now, when she's back to 100% Christy Malzahn, we can rejoice in that fact. But she is home, and we're still praying every single day for Christy and Gus and their whole family. So I would offer for you guys to do that if you would, as a favor to me. Let's see. Joey says change to live chat, not top chat. I don't know what that means, brother. I'm open to it, though. Let's see. AU Taxman says, I think it's too easy or dismissive to say they don't think long-term. These are smart people. There have to be long-term objectives. I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I've kind of been studying this for years. Because when I was a younger reporter, I would get my ass beat constantly by Goldberg and Phillip because they were so good and so hooked in. Like they knew people. And I really don't even know. I work with a different group of people than they do, but I had to study things because I was like, I'm never going to be able to get as much scoop as they do. This is 25 years ago. So I've got to be able to think ahead better and kind of anticipate the way things go. And I'm telling you, and I still do that, and I still don't see a long-term solution. It's just like there's kind of like this rush to fire the current guy. And then if you say, it's almost like the underpants gnomes where like you steal underpants, and then the step 2 is, and then step 3 is profit. Like you never figure out what step 2 is. I just kind of keep feeling that's what keeps happening here. You say, yeah, but what's step 2? Step 2? Who knows what step 2 is? And everybody goes, SSIM008 Super Chat coming through. Yes, this is over. Won't be able to recruit. Saban might not be able to save his career. Oh, I'm sorry. Saban might be able to save his career. What's the cost? What's the money like? Are we still paying Gus? So disgruntled. Like when Cambridge shoots a 3. Or how about when he turns the ball over by not even looking where he's throwing the ball? Auburn just finished paying. It feels like a stranger know what I'm talking about. Phase 3 is profit. They just finished paying off Gus. So Gus is now off the books as I understand it. So this is good. But now at this point, you don't want to go into another 18 to 20. Well, it's going to be more than 18. 18 just for the head coach. And for everybody else, it's probably going to be, 3 or 4 million. You don't want to go into another hole Auburn's already number one in dead money, and so they would go into the all-time number one dead money if they do that again. The whole point of this was that they would be able to either get away with no buyout in a perfect world, right, from their perspective anyway, or at least negotiate it way down. And we're still kind of in that phase. I feel like a stranger says phase 1, fire coach. Phase 3, profit. Pikachu has had some odd questions today. This one is also, it's not wrong or anything, it's just odd. It says, Jay, would you see a game between Auburn and Stanford? Guys, do we have an answer for that? Can Ken Palm tell it? What do you mean you can't do that? Yes, I would like to see that. Cleveland Brown says Southern Cal hits a 3 at the buzzer and is now tied with Arizona 29-29 at half. It's a defensive struggle. That's a big game right there, I think. Arizona is a Ken Palm darling, and USC is, to me, kind of an up-and-comer, a disruptor more than a great team, but they could be a problem in March, depending on they were a problem last March, that's for sure. War Eagle 0008 says, do you think the Chris Mack deal brought all this about, essentially what happened at Louisville? No, I don't think. I do think the Chris Mack deal had something to do with BP getting his extension, like, boom, like that fast. But I don't think it has anything to do with football, no. That's just my opinion. God, I'm dying to see. Man, I bet D. Lucky would have some really interesting stuff to say about this football situation. We need to talk privately, though, first. Because I'm real interested in talking to you about it. You're always super learned about stuff like this. I don't think people realize it. You're like one of those. You would definitely be like a JG. If I had like my senior council, not because you're a senior, but because it would just represent like the top crew. You would definitely be on that. War Eagle 0008 says, sir, just the same type of situation. Yeah, that was a weird deal, though, like at Louisville where, like his top assistant was, like, trying to extort him, and then he turned him in to Louisville, and then Louisville punished Chris Mack for turning him in, which suggests to me that he had done something wrong as well. And so that just got real weird in a hurry, and I don't think that's what's going on here at Auburn. But I see what you're saying. I mean, it's just kind of like internal struggle. And you could kind of say that the dude that was claiming extortion is kind of like Mason, although Mason didn't claim that. But you know what I'm saying? Like an unhappy, disaffected former employee, blah, blah, blah. Canoe Man says D-Lucky is on the Commodore's board of directors. Yeah, that'd probably be right. D-Lucky would definitely be one of those guys that I talk to like that. If I had a board of directors, D-Lucky would definitely be on it. Big Blue would definitely be on it. Matt AU05 would definitely be on it. Who else would be on my group of elders? See, I like a couple guys that like me, and I like a couple guys that don't like me, and I like a couple guys or girls, whatever, that are neutral. Big Blue's neutral. Big Blue doesn't love me, but I respect his opinion a lot. I have to think about that one. I actually had that set up at one time many years ago. I would run this stuff by people. Oh, Power Man would have to be one of those. He would be a neutral. J-Head is somebody I would definitely confer with, but I don't know. He's the kind of guy that would be. You guys don't know J-Head the way I do. He is great about. I think he would not like to be in that role because he feels like he's a guy who really understands the concept of staying in your lane, and so when he's in his lane, he'll tell you everything. But when he starts feeling like he's not in his lane, like he'll tell you right away, like like JG, you know way more about this than I do. I don't have anything. Like he won't tell anybody that he thinks is their lane. You know what I mean? And you want people who are willing to kind of not worry about that as much. Corey Dub says he loves me most of the time. This is good. Most of the time is better than none. This is true. I'm not pointing at you. I'm elbowing at you. Sorry, my mom doesn't like it when I point. Caddy Wampus jumps in with a super chat. Says, watched basketball on the back row of a pageant. Not wasted. That's tough, man. I hope you at least had Wi-Fi.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Man, that's tough, dude. I've never been to a pageant. My wife, my daughter is not a pageant person. She's an athlete. And she doesn't have a lot of grace. God bless you, man. That sounds tough. But, a lot of times things would sound tough, but you just get used to them, Maybe if you get used to it, it's not tough. Darren says, good for you, Caddy. I mean, so I got to answer this one. Yeah. Also be a good guy for the senior council would be Bob Mapplethorpe. Because he's kind of neutral and he's kind of out there, but like about a third of the things he says are brilliant, and the other 2/3 are kind of like, I don't know, I don't know where this guy's from. Like, I don't know where he's from, but you know what I mean. It's like he's talking a different language. AU Taxman, I want to know if anyone picks up on this. I know where you're going with this, AU Taxman. He says maybe it was Life's Rich Pageant. Anybody else picking that up? As Dennis Skinner would say from the Britain's House of Commons, I know what you're talking about. That's brilliant. That's very clever. Let's see. War Eagle 0008 says we need an administrative assistant appearance at some point during a drain. Talk bourbon, horses, and field hockey. I wonder what she would be really good at talking about. She definitely knows her bourbon. She certainly knew her field hockey. I don't know as though she knows a lot about horses. When we go to the horse races, she usually picks out like the worst ones ever. But the truth is that the biggest hit we ever had at a horse race, she got it. She picked some absolute dog shit horse, like head to the glue factory after the race. And she put like $10 on him to win, which I thought was ridiculous. I was like, what? And then she won us like $130, like on a $10 ticket. I was like, holy shit. Let's see, Corey's better half is on here now. She's using the name Tori today. Probably because her name's Tori. But I'm not saying that yes or no. I'm not going to confirm that or not. What up, Tori? To you. I hope you had some of that Russell's the other night. Let's see. Canoe Man says, need to figure out how to make myself valuable to work my way onto the Bunkers board of directors. Dude, I'm skeptical of you a little bit, Canoe Man, because I don't know who you are, but you sure do know a lot of people that I like. I had to have met you at some point. I had to have. You just know too many people I know. And you've been married to, when I say married, I was reading what D. Lucky said, and you just know too many people I really like, too. Like, you must be just a little bit younger than me, because I'm almost 50. You're probably almost 40-ish, like 35 to 40. Because you know, like, Barrett, and you know Starnes, and you know Ryan. You probably knew Chris Rushing. You just know all those people. You must have been in with them. Bro that's over at the SEC now, does baseball. I forgot his name now. D. Lucky says, well, she married a stallion, Auburn Athletics, so she knows something. Hey now. We need to get a hey now. Hey now. I'll write that one down. Also, I told myself before the show I want to get a speak and spell one where they say, that is correct. Next spell, blip, blip, blip. Anyway, Pocket Watch says you should be skeptical. Talking about me with Canoe Man. I think I know Pocket Watch, too. I'm willing to guess that I've met one of those, too. At least one. Maybe both. I'm going to have to get to the bottom of this at some point. The fact that you know Ryan Powell, I'm very, very worried. Because I had to get on Ryan that one time. I had to get Ryan for that one time. Terrence says, any Wu-Tang tonight, JG? I'm going to be honest with you, man. Wu-Tang came about a little bit after they're a little bit younger than me. And so, Cream is pretty much the only one that I would know well enough. And I know that's terrible, but I don't know, man. They hit it big in, about 98-ish, 97, 98 maybe? And, I feel like I stopped listening to rap at about 92. So that's the thing. But I much respect to Wu-Tang for sure. And also be sure to diversify your investments, guys. Seriously. Canoe Man says, I met Chris Rushing a few times, but did not really know him. Knew enough to know he was a heck of a dude. He sure was. Big time Auburn fan, by the way. Chris passed away. It's probably been 10 years now. Worked one of the tremendous Auburn student assistants through the years there in the 2000s. Along with people like Adam Pendergast, Ryan Powell, Barrett, Ben. Probably Jay Cooper before that. Who was the gal from New Jersey that we liked so much? Megan Murrin. Hornatius says 92. How old you be, JGT? Almost 50. So I graduated high school in 90 and went to college in the fall of 90 at Trancey. And then at some point there, I just got so broke I couldn't buy music anymore. And I just didn't, I don't know, it wasn't on MTV or anything. So I just kind of fell off a little bit with the music. Yeah, I was just so poor. We were both just broke as shit. I would have been happy to eat ramen. There were literally nights we had nothing to eat. We weren't homeless or anything, but we were just I got in that hole that a lot of us get into where it's you're paying your rent and you're paying your car note and you're just out of money. You know what I mean? And now I realize you got to pay cash for your cars. Because I'm telling you guys, seriously, little pro tip for you younger people, pay cash for your cars. They're terrible investments. They're worthless. Unless you're buying a freaking 58 Ferrari or something and you know you're going to make money on it, they're a loser. So pay cash for them. And then you're not paying $500 a month for that shit, and you can actually do something useful with your money. I didn't figure that out until too late. Hornation says, well, hell, JGT quit listening to rap when West Coast rap took rap to another level. Dude, did it ever get higher than it did with NWA? Or Easy or Cube? I'm just asking. Hornation says, graduated high school in 95. Yeah, you are young. Huh? How about that? Is there anything else I need to discuss here, guys? I'm here to be of service. I know we've been going a long time. 2.5 hours now. We haven't talked about basketball in an hour. I'm here to be of service. I think it looks like I missed a call from D Lucky. That's unfortunate. War Eagle 0008 says, paid for my car so that I can super chat. T-Roy Tiger, my man, who once worked in Foley. I don't know if he's from Foley. Says, great advice, JG. Thank you. I'm here to help. Ooh, see, Canoe Man goes, psh. Better pro tip, purchase your car through your company and get a tax write-off for it, gas, maintenance, and so on. Whoa, buddy. Sparrow Empire says, yes, Eminem. Okay, I do know some Eminem raps. That is true. I was listening to Just Lose It today, which makes me laugh every time when he goes, that's not a stab at Michael. That's just a metaphor. Terrence Deb says, when is Zepp coming back? We're expecting him back for the Arkansas game. He had a non-COVID illness today, so we think I would expect him to be back for that game. They're going to need him, that's for sure. Good question, Terrence. War Report says, service D's nuts. I said, I'm here to serve. And, of course, Mike G took it there. Pocket Watch says, you're welcome to name names about who exactly is behind this effort or who is leading this anti-Harsin effort. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing that, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, we'll just have to figure that out. War Report says, JK, don't ban me. Of course not. I thought it was pretty damn funny, honestly. Looks like D Lucky on tap tonight. It's got some E.H. Taylor small batch. Jeez. Save a little bit for the rest of us, bro. AU Taxman says, Hornatius, you need to be more specific. Pokeable chicks for the bunker equals all chicks. Girls we would poke is what he likes to call it. Savage B says, if there's any game we lose this season, I personally think it's Arkansas. This team is surging right now. They absolutely are. They play Mississippi State tonight. And if they win that one, that's going to be 8. It's going to be 8 in a row for them. And they don't lose at home very much. They had kind of this weird period of time, like the first 6-8 weeks of the season where they were just not quite as good as they should be. And I felt like a fool because I kept saying they were going to be good. But they've really picked up here lately. And they're good. They're a good ball club. They may be the third best team in the league behind Auburn and I think behind Kentucky, although if they were to knock off Auburn, you'd have to wonder. Terrence says, does this game show how much Bruce relies on the ability to go 10 quality players deep? Yeah, I mean, depth helps everybody, whether it's BP or not. I just think having Zepp out, if you lose Devin, that's not necessarily a huge loss. You lose Zepp, that hurts more. And they really needed some better. No, I don't want to say better. I mean, Wendell is what he is, man. He's a swashbuckling dude who likes to challenge people from 28 feet. That's what he does, and that's what we do. Zepp is the guy who's like the more thinking man's point guard who administrates a little bit better. And they need both of them. They're both very valuable. And when you miss one, it sucks. We watched a team last year that didn't have a point guard for half the season, period. And it was miserable. And tonight was kind of miserable. But they had one. It's better than none. LT Grade says, name names. What are we, cancel culture? We're not woke. No, I'm just saying that. I'm kidding around. I hate the word woke now. It just feels very loaded. I don't know. Let's see. Bradley B says he's going to be drinking some Clyde Mays Alabama-style whiskey. I hope it's like the aged stuff. Because I have had bad experiences with the standard Clyde Mays. But I do like the aged stuff. Like, what is it? If it's older than 9, then I'm good. Terrence says he was playing Preston Cook significant minutes tonight. He was. I think P got 3 shifts tonight, which is about 3 more than normal. But at that point, I mean, Wen was the only one that could run the point. And P was out there doing it a little bit, but he really doesn't give you much besides just kind of passing. I referred to it earlier, station to station. He just kind of, he can do more than that in practice, but, when he doesn't have a lot of game experience, it's really weird to be out there. Russell S. says, AU doesn't need to be a cancel culture, but it needs to hold those accountable for undermining our football program. Well, I don't know how to answer that. If it needed to be undermined, then I don't mind. But we just got to see how this plays out, Russell. Honestly, we just got to see how this plays out. It needs to happen. You guys are really pushing for this. Canoe Man, you know what? Now that I'm starting to think you don't know me very well, because if you think that I'm just going to sit out here and spew names, you don't understand my job very well. E-commerceaholic, great name. Says pretty sure the aged Clyde Mays is sourced. I'm almost positive you're right on that, because every Clyde Mays that I had prior to allocation day was dog shit. I didn't like it at all, and that includes some of the 6-year. Because I was at a tasting, and they were like, all right, guys, you've had the regular Clyde Mays. Now you have the 6-year. And I'm like, whoa, this is going to be awesome. And then they gave it to me, and it tasted like piss, too. And I was like, fuck. Anyway, on allocation day, my main man across the street, Cuzzo, he got some of the, I think it's 13-year. It looks like it has a piece of wood on the front, kind of. That was delicious. Absolutely, really, really good. The problem is that it costs like $140, and to me, it's worth like $60. If it was $60, I'd buy it all day, but it was like $140, and it's too much. It's too much. But it was good. So if your friends have it and they say, hey, man, we want to have some Clyde Mays, be like, well, if it's anything under 13 years, no. Pocket Watch thinks that I might have misread what I was saying earlier about I wish JG would do that or whatever. And Canoe Man, yeah. Okay, man, that's cool. Wasn't trying to get on you. Taxman says Clyde Mays is building a distillery in Troy. Maybe they'll make some better juice there, yo. Reynolds still here with us. We love having Reynolds on. JGT, is there a single Auburn athlete you've covered over the years that you truly adored, respected as a person? Someone you'd love to hang with? Hell yeah, of course. No doubt. Jeremy Engel, who played center on the 04 team. Well, I would consider him a friend of mine. Anytime I see him or talk to him, I'm always like, want to give my friend a hug or whatever. Quentin Groves was like that for me. Rest in peace. I spent a lot of nights playing Call of Duty with him, and I just really got along with him really good. I'm telling you, man, we lost somebody bad when he was gone. I mean, you know what I mean? That one still hurts, man, because Quentin had this, like, love for life that really just kind of made me happier. He just had so much fun, man. You get around Quentin, and he was like the sunshine in the Teletubbies show, you know? He's always having fun, always lots of energy. Another one that passed away, unfortunately. I'm not trying to do this thing where it's only dead athletes that I care about, but Brent Shaning was a guy that I considered a friend of mine. Some of you younger guys don't remember him, but he was an ace pitcher for Auburn in 98, 99, and he's great. He was really, really, really cool. Spent a lot of time. That's back when you could talk to players a lot, and we would just sit in the dugout and talk about shit. He was close to my age at the time. You know, this is 25 years ago. Or whatever, 23 years ago. Somebody said Reese. Reese Dismukes is definitely younger than me, but he's somebody that I have hung out with and I enjoy. I like Reese. He brings it a little harder than I do. You know, he's a better partier than I am, but I sure do like hanging out with him. And he's got a friend of his name, Henley, that's he's a really cool dude, too. I like him a lot. Roar Report says R.I.P. Quentin. I forgot you would know him real good. His wife's a really good friend of mine. She ran track at AU. That's right. She's from Trinidad. That's kind of how he had gotten in with the country of Trinidad and Tobago, and he was a big fan of that place for obvious reasons. Quentin was just, man, I had so much fun with him. Senderic is another one I spent a lot of time with. Interviewing him, texting with him, playing Call of Duty with him. He's actually a good player, Call of Duty-wise. Him and P. Lee are both legitimately good players. I played with P. Lee like a month ago, something like that. He was telling me about coaching. He's been doing some coaching. Golly. You know, I used to cover baseball, too. Like when Tommy Slater was an assistant coach. You know, I told you guys a story a couple shows ago about how we almost got into a fight and he would have kicked my ass. When he was an assistant under Hal, I hung out with him a lot and really thought of him as like a friend of mine. And we would drink beer and shit together. We're the same age. But he's not an athlete. The kids today are so young, you know? So none of them. Let's see. Wargle0008 says friends with DJ HK and Reese as well. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. I play Call of Duty with DJ HK. He's a lot of fun to play with. We always talking Auburn shit. I got a little group of bunker folks that I play with and enjoy the absolute hell out of those guys. I look forward to playing with them. We probably play 2 or 3 times a week. I appreciate the question, though, Reynolds. I don't know if you guys know. I mean, it's not like he's hiding who he is. Reynolds Wolf, he's posting as Reynolds Wolf, is a tremendous meteorologist who works on the Weather Channel. So if you guys ever are on, he for the longest time, he was working in the mornings with Kelly. I assume he is. I don't watch the Weather Channel in the mornings. Sorry. But Reynolds is an international TV star. And also a lifetime Auburn fan. So there you have that. Just in case anybody was wondering. If you ever like watching Weather Channel and you're like, Reynolds Wolf, where do I know that name? Well, you know him from the site. I think he's friends with some of the other reporters too on the beat, which is great. It's really one big family. I feel like everybody on the beat has worked at auburnsports.com at some point, right? I mean, Jay Lee, Justin Hokanson, Nate King. We got guys all over the place, and we love them. It's all family. It's all family. Well, I mean, I feel like I've answered. Bob Williams says those gummies that good. How many gummies is that worth? Russell says, cheers, Reynolds, from a fellow meteorologist. Who in the world would have thought that? How about that? That's awesome. Makes me just think of the old days, though, Reynolds. I appreciate that question, bro. Let's see. War Eagle 0008 is going to bounce. War Damn Eagle, glad the game was never in doubt. On to Arkansas. We'll see you guys. We'll see you for sure at 6 o'clock. Well, we won't be on the air at 6 o'clock, but they will be. And we'll be doing a full show after that one for sure. Jeez. Canoe Man says, miss you already. Do we have a song for that?
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Canoe Man says, tell us about your favorite gummies at the War Report. I love that, you guys. That's awesome. I love how the gummies thing is really taken off over there. They've done it. They've really done a good job of kind of putting that together, kind of getting that synergy going, as we call it. Well, I mean, I'm here to answer, but I feel like we're kind of slowing it down. Hornation says we're going to get some snow in Helena. Reynolds, thank you. Reynolds says you got to get up at 2 a.m. All right, brother. You know we love you, bro. We'll be cheering for you, as we have been the whole time. He gets to work with the Abulian, Kelly Cass. And others of the other tremendous folks of the Weather Channel who dominate, of course. Frank G, we're just going way off the reservation here. JGT, what's your favorite Winter Olympic sports? Shoot. I don't know, man. I sure was into them back in the day. I tore my knee up. I think I've told you the story. Back when I lived in San Diego, I tore my knee up during the 80 Winter Olympics because I thought I was a loser. And so we built we took our long form skateboards and we made a luge out of it. And I lived on this big ass hill. And we went down the hill. We were going way too fast, hit a rock, spilled, and I slid on my face and my knee. I ground my knee into the bone, into the patella, and then my face was all messed up, and I came home bleeding and screaming, and my mom thought I'd been in a car accident. And I ended up being okay, though. Everything was fine. I just bled a lot. Goose Flat says, JGT, do you think our guard play has gotten better the last few games? Or do we still have some work to do going into the tournament? Oh, shoot. I think guard play has been terrific. The problem today was that Zepp wasn't there, and Wendell was playing probably 8 minutes, 10 minutes more than he usually does, and was just kind of getting worn down a little bit. But, man, I thought he played a very valorous game. And I feel like when they're together and they're full speed and everything's good, I feel like the guard play is good. Mobile Alum 1991 is here. She has come in late, but we still love her. Doesn't matter. It says War Damn Eagle, sweep. Swept Bammer in the last game, and now you finish it with a sweep of the Georgia Bulldogs. Terrence says that explains the face JG. You son of a gun. I'm tired of this. I'm not going to take this from you. Do we have a boo? No, we just have one of these. I really think that I'm okay now. Mobile Alum, by the way, knows we are going to be doing the show at Voodoo Mobile. Is that next weekend? No, it's 2 weekends. It's the 19th of February. It's the day of the Florida game. So that's probably going to mean no show. We'll tape a show with J-Head and other luminaries, but we won't be doing a live brain drain. And I bet you Mobile Alum will be there. I'm almost willing to guess. Bob says 14 inches of snow here and 12 degrees here in the morning. Where in the world are you? I'm sorry to hear that. Corey says Jamaican bobsledding with John Candy as the head coach is my favorite Olympic winter sport. Yeah, we saw that documentary as well. It was called Cool Runnings, right? Yeah, that was good stuff. All right, I'm here to answer questions, but I feel like we've kind of discussed it all. So we're definitely going to do a show on Tuesday for the Auburn at Arkansas game. That's going to be a huge showdown, as we talked about today on the show a bunch. If the situation requires us, demands is the right word, I mean, because everything's a demand. if we are required to do a show between now and then, we can do that then too, Yeah, we can definitely do that then. Hold on. I think I can do this again. Been bitching at, yes, finally. These jerks from YouTube they took away my list, my ability to see super chatters, like after the fact. And, yes, and now they've restored it. Thank God I finally bitched enough about it where they did it. So now I can do a full rundown of all that badass super chatters. By the way, Mobile Alum jumped in again. Absolute legend. Of course she is. Thank you for going above and beyond the past few days. You, the man. Thank you for your support. Of course. Looking forward to seeing you at the Voodoo Showdown. Ravine says, can I come to the Voodoo meetup? Fuck yeah, you can. Of course. We'd love to have you. It's going to be on the 19th. That's 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, and we'll be at the Voodoo Mobile location for dinner. So I'm thinking, actually, Mobile Alum and I were talking about this the other day, like 6-ish maybe. And I need to make sure we can watch the Florida game. We need to watch the Florida game together, all of us, and either drink bourbon or drink beer. They do have a full bar there, so we can drink some bourbon if we want to. In fact, I think I have. In fact, I know I have. And we could do some of that. So, Ravine, definitely. Come on down, bro. I'm going to talk about it on the bunker, too, just to make sure we can get as much participation as possible. Frank G says, my gamer tag is cordless drill. That is true. All one word, just as you have posted it right there. I'll certainly take Activision invites from anybody that wants to be my friend on there, and I'll play with you guys. I play Warzone probably every other day, something like that. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst. I'm like middle of the road. I prefer to play on the island, Rebirth, but I'll play pretty much anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter. It's all good. I'm not worried about my numbers. I always joke with the kids. I'm like, does any girl actually date you for your kill to death? Because you need to stop being so sweaty. Because I've been married for like 25 years, so I don't really care about kill to death anymore. Let's see. Terrence says, did Cliff ever thank you for the revenue you generated for him last week? Yeah, when I played Groovy Situation and his record label filed for that copyright revenue. I'm afraid that money doesn't go to him, though. I think it's just they own his record. They own his recording or whatever. You guys are funny. Wicked good Wi-Fi. I like that. Ravine says he's going to put it on the calendar. I'm fired up to hear about this. This is great news. All right, we'll wrap it up there, guys, for real. We will see you guys again Tuesday. Unless conditions merit it, we can do something before then. I do want to give a shout-out to all of our super chatters today, which include, excuse me, Sammy's over here excited. He wants to see what I'm talking about. Cleveland Brown, who hit us before we even got going. War Eagle 0008, McLevin AU, Stu Pup, Rain 8689. The Canoe Man, who I'm still skeptical of, but it's not a personal thing. I'm just curious who he is. El Tigre Esquire, who has he's great on the bunker. SSim008, Daniel P, a.k.a. Metal Fan, Ravine, Legendary Ravine, Fat Crack, Sam H, Farm Data, The War Report, a.k.a. Mike G, Canoe Man, Sam H, Stoop Up Again, wow, Hornatius, Patrick D, who's the best DJ I know of, personally, Duff Diver, Bourbon Bowl, who we don't deserve, Ryan S., Corey Dub from Magum, SSim008 again, Hornatius again, wow, Caddy Wumpus, Mayor Mix-a-Lot. I did not call out your super chat, and I apologize. I'm gonna apologize to you personally. Chris Roberts Appreciation Fund. I'm going to send you a message on the bunker and apologize to you directly because I did not call you out, and I feel absolutely disgusted about it. I'm sorry about that. And I don't even know I don't have any reason to do that. That's terrible. Mobile Alum jumps in as well here twice late, and, of course, we love her. She's an absolute legend. Thank you guys for your support. Also to our incredible just chatters who keep the chat light. We had a much better day chatting than we did the other night, didn't we, guys? It got really bad there at the end, but today we finished off great with some great posters, doing some great work. Josh D says, who's on your short list if Auburn moves on from Harsin? Whoa, buddy. Let's tackle that next time, okay? Yeah, we'll tackle that next time. That's kind of a deep one. We got a long way to go to get to that point. So we'll bounce out right now. D. Lucky says night peeps. That's a great way to go out. One of our best posters to say night peeps. And we will see you guys next time, Tuesday at the latest. Could do a show before then if we need to. And Dog Mayor, who I met at the bourbon event in Montgomery, I'm going to send you a DM anyway because that's terrible. See you guys. Peace, love. Make great decisions out there. Ruxy Poo, Canoe Man, all you guys. Peace.